Shalom, family. Most High in Christ bless you. I know it's been told that you were gonna get a video from a brother that was keeping records of things that have been going on, and I've been watching this campaign come forth from the day I said I was gonna not fellowship with IUIC anymore. And this campaign has been basically preparing you all to not listen to whatever I had to say, right? Basically a discredit campaign. Now, I'm only doing this video to give the people that I know and love in the congregation that I've had relationships with for years, through bonds, through counsel, through me having a position and guiding young men and their endeavors and stuff, to give all of you an answer as to why all of a sudden I decided to leave the organization. Now, I'm going to read the scripture that's been hanging over me for the past 3 years since I've been in Texas. Now, it says here, Leviticus 5:1, and if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing and is a witness, whether he have seen it, whether he have seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. If you know of sin or hear of sin, it's not talking about just being a witness. It says, whether he have seen or known of it, and he do uttereth it not, then he shall bear his iniquity. I've seen things and I've known of things and I've heard of things since I've been here, and I stood shut. I stood quiet. I tried to leave it in the Lord's hands in the sense of saying these things can hurt the congregation, and if it comes out, then it's gonna put a stain on the organization. And what I became guilty of, and not just the sins I was committing at the time, but was also putting the organization above the law, above what the scriptures say. So in me carrying this burden for almost 3 years, I've watched it grow and fester, and the results, consume families and basically destroy people's reputations and push people away. And I got to a point as of recently that I saw more people being pulled into it and said, enough's enough. I can't continue to turn a blind eye to this sin. So with that being said, does this have something to do with Judah and Masharathiah? Absolutely. Does it have anything to do with the doctrine that's come out about the Sabbaths? Nothing to do with that. Everything I'm about to talk about has to do with the things that transpired before they were put out, before their judgment, and what led up to their judgment of them being put out. It goes deep, and I'm guilty. I'm guilty of sin. I've been involved in extortion. I've been involved in manipulating families, and I've also am guilty of staying quiet behind it. Again, putting the organization above the law. So I'm gonna go back a bit, rewind from the day Judah and Masha's judgment came out. And when I moved down here in 2015 with my wife Zamira, I moved here in the guise of, there being help needed to build the congregation of Austin. At the same time, there would be job opportunities out here because it's a tech city. So, we moved down for those two reasons. Now, in moving down, I was under renting part of UZZIAH's duplex. In the first few months I was there, I could not find work. Could not find no job at all. Nothing. In getting to know the congregations that were here, Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, I met a brother and a sister who I'm not going to name throughout this video. I'll give him a name after I show this clip with Bishop Kanai. So this brother and this sister who were well off wanted to meet me. And we had like a mutual meeting that we wanted to attempt to do some kind of clothing business. Now, I met them in Houston, visiting Houston, and after about 2 times visiting them, showing portfolio, showing back work, really proving to one another like, look, we have the similar backgrounds in the fashion industry. And we were like, okay, let's try to do something. They were being held back by the leadership there from doing anything in regards to this type of work. So, we scheduled a meeting. And I knew that, with the type of investments they could make, that this was going to be something important. And like I always do, whenever I do something that is new ground for me or something that I've never done before, I would counsel heavy with my counselor at the time, who was Bishop Kanai. And in doing that, I counseled with him about this meeting to make sure, one, I was doing the right thing, and two, that I'm doing everything according to the scriptures. Little did I realize at the time was that he already knew about this family, because he was also the counselor for the senior man in Houston at the time. So I'm about to play the video of us having this meeting. He knew I was recording it. I do that sometimes when things are very elaborate and I need to go back to review it to make sure I remember everything that's in there. So he was very well aware of this recording. Now, going back and looking at this recording sometime later, it's different when you, real quick, it's when something's, you're in the middle of doing it or talking about it, it's like, okay, it's one way. After certain things transpire, you go back and you review it and you're like, holy crap, this really went in another direction, and this is evidence of it. So I'm going to read a scripture real quick. Sirach 37 and verse 8. I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, every counselor extolleth counsel, meaning they praise their own counsel, them being a great counselor or having knowledge. But there is some that counseleth for himself. Verse 8, beware of a counselor, and know before what need he have, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast the lot upon thee, and say unto thee, thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee. Now, before I play the video, we got to paint the picture of what was going on. At the time, in talking with Kanai for a few years, he was always letting me know of his situation financially, keeping me abreast, letting me know his dreams and aspirations of what he wants to do in business. And me being a multimedia artist, being able to do websites, clothing designs, and so forth, I always found myself trying to help him get his dream off the ground. Namely, some kind of clothing brand.
The Sociopath Next Door by Martha Stout, PhD. One thing that's common with these people is she calls it the pity play. If you're a sensitive, friendly, caring person, well, they know that you would not ever want to see another human being suffering. So they love this pity ploy game, because they know it might help inspire you to think you can step in and fix them, or step in and help them, or whatever the case is. But the point is pity. They like to use it, and they will use it to any length.
Now, is he a clothing designer? No. He's a trucker. He's been a trucker for many years, and he's also made many attempts to start businesses. After Judah and Marsh was put out, I had a phone call with Nathaniel where I discussed everything that I'm talking about now in this video, and here's what he had to say about Kanai and his business practices, just so you don't think I'm lying.
Hey, I'll give you a story. Listen to this story. Years ago, Kanai calls me. He says, hey, remember there was a big thing in New York with bed bugs? Remember that? In the movie theater. In the movie theaters, there was bed bugs. So Kanai call. He says, hey, y'all should invest several $1,000s to buy bed bug coverings. I said, for what? He said, for movie theaters. You make a whole lot of money. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll think about it. But in my mind, I'm like, Kanai got all these ideas, but he's a truck driver. I'm like, so I just laughed about it. I said, yeah, okay, Kanai, that's how he's doing. I said, yeah, okay. You got to know every man's strength and their weakness. Some brothers are business-minded. Others are not. You know, you got as soon as you meet them, you know who's a good businessman and who is not. Who's struggling, who got a money demon on them. You got to peep that. That's how I always say. Like I always tell a story. Remember, I said one day I put a box in the back of the school that had clothes in it, and I said, "Hey, the sister brought this box, and this is for the congregation." And I never mentioned the brother's name. To this day, I still won't mention. But I said a particular brother jumped up and ran to the box. And I cursed the brother out. I said, so later on, I said, bruh, I said, this is not for you. This is for the body. So now and then I do little things like that to see brothers' spirits, where their heart is, you know.
When I first met him, he purchased screen printing equipment, which he never knew how to use. And then from that point on, I was always like trying to teach him how to do shirts or trying to school him, trying to show him Photoshop, Illustrator, for years. From when I met him back, I think in 2008 or 9, when I was going through a divorce with my son's mom. And during that divorce is when I visited him in Orlando to, spend time away from New York to clear my head. And there's where, he had purchased some screen printing equipment, wanted me to move down there, go into business with him with clothing, shirts, all this stuff. And I was always reluctant to do it and held off and focused on being in New York because I was helping in New York with the original royalty brand. Nonetheless, up into this video, I was working on, as you see in the video, I'm working on his Hebrew Market website, developing his graphics, getting him ready for production, and at no cost. This is me just trying to help a brother out from him letting me know his situation financially. And everyone who knows me knows that I'm not about making a dollar. If you're trying to do something and I can help and I can do it without hurting myself, I'm going to do it. And sometimes I go overboard and people are like, Bez, you need to charge for this. You need to charge for that. And sometimes I don't. But with him, it was the same thing. I was doing these things to try to help a brother out. But in the process of doing this, while I'm in Texas now, this business meeting came up that I was going to have with this family. Actually, I met really was talking with the brother's wife in regards to this stuff, because she was the one that had the clothing brand and had all this equipment, sewing machines and stuff like that. So I'm gonna play the video for you now. Right, check this out. I'm recording this so we could go back later.
Good. And on this, keep in mind that different from past ventures, Bez, is that everything in the past has been trying to patch together a business with duct tape and glue. Now these people got money. So you can really go to it, step to it aggressively, and it's not going to be as though you're just trying to make them spend money, because they're already spending money. They already spent money in it. Listen, this way, if you want the social media, if you want the designs, if you want the whatever stuff you do, you name all the stuff that she wants or you can do. He said, listen, I need a staff. Zamira could be one of the staff members, where she could draw salary. She can stay on top of this deal, on top of you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can explain to her, listen, what you're asking for, I already do, but I do it part-time because I'm running out trying to facilitate work. I've been doing it for years. Zamira's doing it right now for you. She's doing it for the church, You have other people in place that you can use. Say, all that I've been doing is was all a prerequisite to where we are now. I could take all the skills I have, all the resources I have, all the people with the know-how I have, and do this for you. So then you get to a point, well, once you name what you can do or what she needs done or how you, and then ask her, do you mind if I share with you my vision? This way you still give her the control in your speech that, do you mind if I share with you my vision? And then you begin to explain what you see and how you can take it. And then I guarantee what you're going to tell her, whatever's going to come out of you, is going to move her to the next level. About 1/3 of Israel repenting, what they need, and everything. And you can tell her, listen, I can safely tell you that on a manufacturing end, I can move all Israel to outside of you doing your own designs, your machines will continue running. I can guarantee you Kanai is going to do his stuff through you. And there's other things he's trying to do other than just t-shirts. I can guarantee you, for the most part, if you can match the prices that Original Royalty doing, they're going to buy through you. It's going to become a snowball effect. So when your machines are not running because of your own production, it'll continue running, making money.
Yeah, and right there I would mention about, and not just doing, and not just one brand coming out of the production house, but many other brands coming out of the production house, being born out of these this production line, being able to produce all kinds of stuff.
And that's the point you should tell her that if you don't mind, you've recorded me, so it don't matter. I'll say it anyway. If what you should try to do is tell her I'm looking at a 5-year plan, meaning once we get past the clothing line, I really would like to see this niche we fill, that we step fully into it. Meaning, like Amazon. Amazon start off with books, and then it branched to other things. She can branch into printing out Bibles, printing out posters, printing out cards. We can just make this one, and you could be a wholesaler, actually making fringes and we buying it. Not so much you guys selling it, but you sell it to people like myself, that I can resell to the public. You guys just be a mass producer of things, and then it trickles down. That this way you can put other people into business where they can sustain themselves, and you guys just be supplier. Why it would be better like that? Between me, why it'd be better like that? Because if she produces and sells all these things, then all the money stays within her. You understand? But if she produces and sells to me as a retailer, she become the warehouse. And then everybody can buy from her, and we all can go out and sell it. This way, many people can get their hands in it and make a living, and she just makes the money on the volume. You understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't be in the best interest between me and you for her to monopolize on everything, because if she does like that, then people will still be needing and they can't sustain themselves. But anyway,
so you're talking about developing other brands behind it?
Yeah, like she, example, like bed sheets. She'd be the mass producer of the bed sheets, and another person goes into business and sells the bed sheets. So we'll buy from her at the cost, or whatever it costs her with her profit, and then we go back and resell it. But she's the only sole supplier of it. Fringes. She's the sole supplier of fringes. We all buy fringes from her. Now, she can in turn around, make the fringes and sell herself, but then she keeps all the money, and that's where the problem arises, because now a person cannot go into business, and sustain themselves. But if she has enough volume, with people purchasing from her, she'll make the shorter dollar, but in the long run, it'll be the bigger, because she'll do the volume. You want to be in a situation where you're the only sole distributor of everything that we need. So we're going to have to, if we want to do business, you're going to make things that's going to be specific. Like example, I want to make shorts, cargo shorts, with menorahs on it. Well, you're going to be the only people that's going to be producing that material. You understand?
Yep. Sorry, I'm here. I just dropped my camera.
Okay, yeah, you're the only one that's going to be producing that material. You're going to be the only one that can sell. Well, then where else am I going to buy from? Now, you don't have to worry about doing a bunch of mass marketing. That's going to be my problem, because now I got to get people to see my stuff to buy it. But once you have the material and you're producing it, it's a no-brainer where to go. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Okay, let's get back to this.
Because I want long term is, instead of her being the sole entity over that, I want that to be split between our families.
Well,
kind of like the Rockefellers coming together with the with DuPont or something like that.
Vanderbilt. He came together with Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt,
exactly.
Vanderbilt's the one who actually moved his stuff around on his trains.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Vanderbilt is who made Rockefeller rich, to be honest with you. Yeah. But okay, so we're on the same page. Let's go back. So what you want to do is answer, can I express my thoughts? What I would like to see happen. This way, then you do what you do best. You sell. You sell your concepts, which your concepts, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They're gonna sell. You know how to do it. And where I see that you're invaluable at, excuse me a second, but listen. Where I see that you're invaluable at is that you possess the skills in which she needs to step into the arena in which she wants, which is Israel. She can cut back because, like you said, the industry she was in before was the clothes was out of order. It was whatever gays or whatever it might be about. But now you can step into an area where she doesn't have any of that expertise. She doesn't know, but you know because you've been doing it for years now.
Yeah.
Then you get to a point to find out, okay, so if you want to do that, and we see ourselves move forward, I don't want to be presumptuous and tell you what I'm looking for. I want you to tell me what are you willing to work out with me? How do you want us to move forward? Because one of the issues is that I got to start working, and if I start working, I'm going to have to I'm going to be distracted. If you want me full time, if you want to start this now, if it's something that you want to start within the next few months to get the ball rolling, let me know so I can arrange my life. But I'll be honest with you, I got to start pulling the salary down now. So where do you want to go for this? Then pause and let her tell you. This is going to become the negotiating part of it. If she might just come out and say, I'll give you X amount or whatever, of cash. Are you trying to hire me as an employee or do you want me as a business partner? Now, I think you told me before she's looking for a partner, right?
Yeah.
Those are the words she used?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can repeat that from what you told me that you were looking for a partner. And I need to understand what it is. Okay, now this is what I offer. Now, how do we work out the financials? And tell her, listen, whatever you need to do, the groundwork, the grunt work, running to California to get your machines, see what you have, tell me what you have already. I can advise you on what you're going to have to buy to make this happen. Have you shown her your work before?
Yeah, she's seen what I could do.
Okay. And you see my work, so this is what I'm going to need to make this happen. This is what I'm going to need. So, and then we're doing phases, meaning get the equipment here. Begin to design what you need to do. You're going to need to say, listen, sister. In other words, what I'm saying to you is that you got to start throwing money at the concept.
I think phase one would be to get all this on paper in a business agreement first, and then do a ongoing business plan, like a business plan that's like growing and being refined.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, that makes sense. Like I told you, your work should be based on, your pay should be based on production, performance. But you have to let them know. One thing I always told you guys, the most important thing, it might seem crass, but the most important thing is that you have an open lines of communication. That she feels comfortable on telling you her likes, her dislikes, and vice versa.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's different when you're talking about an employee to a partner. An employee, you just got to do what you're told to do. Now, if she wants to hire you as an employee, then you say, well, this is what I need. You got to pay me X amount. But for this specific work, I'll design for you. If you want me as an employee, I'll design for you for $60,000. I'm going to put it on $60,000 a year. I'll design for you. With incentives, meaning if the item sells over X amount, I get a bonus. If you want me as a partner now, then it changes. Then you put yourself in different facets of the business, because designing is one part, marketing is another part. I can design, I can market, I do, I could do the computer part. I could do, maintenance of the websites. All those things are different jobs. So what you're going to get in me is you're going to get somebody. If you had to hire somebody to design, you're going to pay them say $60,000, $70,000 a year. You want to get somebody to market, you're going to pay them $50,000. You want to get somebody to do the back. That's going to be another, maintain your stuff. That's going to be another $60,000. Right there, you're over $200,000 in already with it. So how do you, if you really want to take it to the next level, and you expect to say nobody in Israel is doing this, and it's not like the idea's not out there because you've been talking with other people like myself for years about it. The difference between me and her is that they got the money to do it. So tell them, no, the idea's not out here, but for the reasons you're in the forefront of, stepping into an industry that can employ a lot of people, put a lot of people with jobs, and a lot of people, you can put a lot of people in business. This way, Israel can start maintaining themselves. We can start stepping to the next level. A lot like, for lack of a better word, these big churches. Meaning, the reason why these churches thrive is because its congregation got money. They work, they have jobs where they can maintain themselves. So, just the same premise here. And all that leads back to the truth. Meaning, people making money, people can donate, and move this work forward. You can do commercials. I can do commercials for the brand. What you offer, you just got to sell yourself with all that you have. We're gonna the same way. We're going to market you. We can market you across the board. The commercials, with Zamira, with her music, when your clothing line. You designing garments for the brothers for camp. It's I can go on and on. You can handle it. Listen,
Well, I mean, it's either I do this work for someone in the truth or with someone in the truth, or I just go do this off of the other nations.
And still get the pressure.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. So you've been handling it for years. You've been handling for years. Well, when IUIC original works and you ain't been getting paid for it, so shit. Don't see my language.
Yeah, Bishop, I'm listening.
My name is Kanai, please.
I'm sorry, Kanai.
Yeah. If the financials. You said something to me the last time, before I said. You said manufacturing, the other end was what? Design?
No, I said there's two parts to this. There's developing a brand for her, or us teaming up on a brand, which would be more so her vision, or bringing forth what she wants. Her, what would she like if she asks me? Well, the name, maybe she has a name already. If she does, great. If not, it's kind of like it all leans towards Israelite apparel, like just the name itself, not so much as your idea, but just the wording Israelite apparel. You get what I mean?
Yes, I understand. I understand what you're saying. So here we go. Which I agree with you. On the branding of it, you don't get what she wants. You get paid for it. But the manufacturer is where it's keys at, because, like you were saying, you'll get business elsewhere. That's what you're talking about. I'm not going to only produce your brand. I'm going to bring customers to your brand. I mean, not the customers to your manufacturing brand. That's going to actually buy through you. And I want to be able to profit off of that. That's where the money's at, to be honest with you.
Yes.
That's where the long-term dollars at, to be honest with you.
Yes.
So, with that, you told all that you're able to do, or that you're offering to do, and you say, listen, ask her. This is how salesmen do it. Why do you think it's fair? And before you say, listen, you can be frightfully honest with me. One thing I don't care about, I'm not going to be upset. I don't get upset. And I'm going to say what I see. And I hope you don't get upset. That we got to be very honest with each other. If you don't like something, whatever, feel free. Let's have an open, honest discussion. There's no harm, no foul. That's the way you're going to have a healthy business. And that's why I talk to, when I talk very open about what I feel. This way, nobody's confused. Because if you don't, thinking you're going to hurt somebody's feelings, then they ought to come back to bite you. And you'll say, but I can tell it and ask her, what do you think are you willing to do? How do you want to work this out? And then she gives you a number. She might say 30%. You're like, oh, snap. Okay, cool. 30%. But I wouldn't be the one to say it. Let her say it. Now if she say 10%, you know that's about where I want it. And then you may say, listen, on the design part of it, pay me a salary. On the manufacturing end of it, give me a percentage of the business. You know, and this way you don't ask for incentives on the design part of it. You get a flat salary, $1,000 a week, whatever you see. And then on the manufacturing end of it, give me a percent, 10%. You don't understand, 10%. If she has 1/3 of Israel, let's say 1/3 of Israel repents. We can't put a number to it now, but it says we get 7 seeds. If she gets 5% or 3% of 1/3 of Israel, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in business. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, I'm not going to do that. What I'm trying to say is that 10% of $1 million, and you ain't doing no work, is $100,000. You ain't working, you got people working in the warehouse. You make $100,000 just on it. And you won't be there. You design it. Warehouse be running. Make $100,000 a year for doing nothing. And that's only at $1 million. $1 million ain't no real big money. It really isn't. So that's why I said, don't come with a ridiculous number because you're going to scam off. At the end of the day, they can say, half of everything I did, I put what, because let's say everything for whatever reason falls flat. It never goes anywhere. They're out of money. You're just out of time. Big difference. So I would tell you, with that, you could continue, and this is the thing, let them know plainly, you got to tell you. Let's start with a basic agreement, and then we can come back and re-examine it in 2 years. You want to know that, okay, that these contracts are locked in, that for whatever reason, if you want to move on without me, or if I want to move on, we can dissolve the relationship, but you got to give me at least 6 months advance notice, 3 months advance notice that, you decide to dissolve it, and how do we separate, and for the reasons, because you want to know that there's some kind of compensation on the way out, meaning, like they tell you, oh, I quit. If the business dissolved or what it might be, that if the business goes on without you, you leave, that somehow you get some kind of compensation. But that's down the line. That's down the line when you look to renegotiate your contract or we look at what you're doing.
I think the wording you just gave, that would be something for a business agreement, wouldn't it? Like when we get to that point?
Yeah.
So I think this initial conversation is more like, unless we go to their house and they have their lawyer friend come over with a typewriter and he's ready to kind of get everything ready, then that'd be different. But
I think this conversation will be ready.
Yeah.
Sell the concept. Sell her concept. Let her give you a concept. Let her give you her concept, and tell her how you're going to make it happen. And that's something you don't need me to tell you because you know how to do that already. You know how to sell concepts. You do it all day. Something you do. That's going to come out of you naturally. Yeah. I'm more when you get to the point of talking about monies now.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that you link to it? I'm telling you, as you make this happen, I will be in Austin. I'll be in Austin.
Sirach 29:19. A wicked man transgressing the commandments of the Lord shall fall into shortership, and he that undertaketh and followeth another man's business for gain shall fall into suits.
You know why? Because other than what I told my kids, you'll be in a position to move things in Israel. I know you're going to think I'm tripping. I don't even think you really realize what you can do or what can take place. But here's the thing: all those years of helping people, now it's time for it to become a residual that falls back on you. No more helping. And not that you don't switch to want to help.
No, I understand what you're saying. I got to be a boss now and stop being a worker.
Right. Stop helping. You helping. Thank you. But how does it benefit you?
Yeah.
Because you got to survive. Can I give you one suggestion, Bez?
Yeah.
If you don't mind. One thing I learned over the years with Israel, you better slowly handpick who you're going to bring. Bring people that are able to do the job more so than you're going to have to show much you're going to do. Meaning, sometimes it's better to deal with people that's not in the truth for the fact that you have no relationship with them.
Yeah.
And you can just get them to do what you want. That people believe with Israel and black and Hispanic people, they believe that they deserve a little extra because they're in the truth. And it bleeds a lot. It makes it kind of difficult. And I've dealt with people before in business because I've had people work. And they match the truth with business. And I learned that from young with my pops. I worked with my father, and my father, from very young. When we leave here and we're at work, I'm at your father. I'm your boss. And I'll fire you. I don't care about your issues, your problems. You're here to work. When we get home, I'm your father and we don't talk about business. And he made the distinguishing line between that. Because what happened, people begin to believe the two together. And they believe, like, if they're mad at you because of something that happened at work, it leads into the truth. Or vice versa, what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you handpick the people that you know, and you be very, very cautious on bringing people in like that. Because, again, it's a marriage. It becomes a marriage. And whatever stuff you have to do, you don't want to hear about it. Listen, the production got to get out tomorrow. You want me to counsel you? I'm tired now. I gotta go to work, and I need that stuff done. And now you can't do it. But you understand what I'm trying to say, right there? Tell you something.
Yeah.
All that you're talking about, keep this to your head. Don't share it just until you get emotion.
Yeah.
Just keep it to your head.
Yeah.
It's a personal business relationship between you and this family.
Yeah.
What I would do is the only person I would bump it up to is speak with the captain next door to you, so it's not like, it can perceive that, something's going on underhand. So somebody...
No, he already knows. I spoke to him.
Right, cool, that's what I'm saying. But other than that...
Yeah.
This way, if there's any questions come up in leadership, like listen, I spoke to my lead captain, he's fully aware of what's going on. I spoke to Tanai, they're fully aware of what's going on. So it's not like, anytime there's business of money involved, sometimes people could misconstrue what people's intentions are. But this way, it's out there like, people, they're like a secret, for the business. And after that, they don't want nobody to explanation about anything.
Well, I mean, the bishop said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The reason why I'm saying it for is because it can get misunderstood, and if people somehow want to branch it as it is an IUIC thing. You understand what I'm trying to say? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay, and you gotta make clear that this ain't that. It has nothing to do with that. Do not, that's why I said, let people know somehow they hear a business and people with truth, they think, oh, this could help, this could be part of IUIC, original royalty, and then you know somebody says, yeah, they could be doing original royalty, put original, I'm telling you, don't do it. That's why, you notice, when I've expressed to you over the years about my ideas, I always, this is not, this has nothing to do with that. This is my own thing. I keep on saying, and I don't keep saying, damn, you're like, you're being an asshole. Yeah, I am. I'm letting you know, so nobody confused, like, I gotta explain, I'm telling you, it's my thing. It's mine. People do that because, and I don't care if people think that, damn, no, I am being like that, so nobody's confused because the lines get blurred.
Yeah.
And then that's where the problem arises. So nobody can say, damn, I heard him say 15. I'm not because I'm coming to you, it's because it's mine. And that's how I want you to understand. I want people to understand that. And that's how you gotta be. So less people know best for you. Until you get to think the machine up and rolling, and then, hey, it is what it is,
No, I'm not telling nobody. I'm not telling nobody. Next thing you know, I'm being told I'm wicked.
Yeah. Now wicked. I just can't make it. So everything you see original royalty and what it's done, it's all been on a part-time basis. Imagine if I do that full-time. And not just original royalty, clothing, original royalty music, the Mara, the Daughters of Sarah, all that stuff has been done on part-time work. If I could put 100% of my time behind something, and without two things, without distraction, and without worrying about where my next dollar is coming from, because that takes up time. I got to worry about how I'm going to feed myself. So I need a paycheck. If I have that, and I can sit down and I can be left alone, and I have proper tools, if I did that working that on part time, imagine if I have 100% focus on it. I forget it. All I do is, go to the gym and daggone work on this. Now, what I will tell you when you're working there, always remember that do not get fully, I think you should know this, so I said, do not get fully engulfed. There must be times that apart from the scripts, and what you got to do with original royalty, you still set some time to do for that, but this way you can let them know that I can't put, you got to set people in place that can do this. I can't do this full time, I got a job now. And, I'm not going to neglect you guys, but it's not going to be my priority right now, because I got my priority. Same thing with the brothers of the truth. Their priority is taking care of job and feeding their family, and then original royalty and stuff comes second. You understand that? Yahshua, whoever else is. I'm going to help you guys any way I can, but I got other things to do, so we have to set other men in place that can do that can actually take over something like that. And one is Josiah. Josiah can start taking care of his side. He needs to do it to challenge to do it. And this way, it can prove, that could be a way to pull yourself away where you are not expected to be the sole designer for everything that comes out of the original royalty.
Yeah. What about the building the clothing line? Because that would be a separate business. How should I do
I will tell you, if you want me as a designer for your goods, that's something else. You can pay me salary for that if you want to design. Or, you pay, give me, I don't know, tell me, you guys got to give me numbers so I know what you're expecting, because I can build based on what I, what's going to take care of. You guys going to keep me in a situation where I don't have to think about nothing else but your line. If you guys are going to have me exclusively, okay, then, you got to give me a number that can sustain myself. I'm not looking to bleed you guys. I'm not looking to do it. I'm talking about manufacturing to sustain myself, but I need something that I need to buy myself a car, I need this, I need to make sure my place is together, my wife is. And if you want me 100%, all right, we can work out a number with it and hear what they say. They have money, so they know they're making something more than you shoot it for. If they ask you, what do you think? Well, if you can make what you're making in New York, right there, you're all right. On the line.
Yeah, sure. I was ready to take a job making freaking. Yo, you don't understand. Sometimes I be tempted to fill out applications at Lowe's.
I understand. And I told them, I would tell them, listen, I'm in between, I'm about to fill an application at Lowe's. What the hell am I going to do at Lowe's? I can't get that at Lowe's. But if you want to take it away, if you can keep me what I'm making, right now, baby, if you start off and say, listen, let's start off with something that's fair. Meaning, we're not producing anything. Give me, and this is just until we get this thing going, give me $700 a week. Cash, you pay no taxes on it. Whatever number works for you. Enough that you can buy yourself a car or whatever. And I'll go get your equipment, whatever. Pick a number. I don't know what number is good for you. But, give me this. And not only am I going to design for you, I'm going to revamp your website. I'm going to, you give me place, give me $700 a week, give you $300. That's still $1,000 you take home, right? And that's cash. And then you still need to know. Great. But we $52,000 $50,000 in Austin with no taxes on top of it. I'll design for you, revamp your website. I'll do all the work that you have to pay 3 different people to do. Between design, website, marketing, we'll do all that. And then after the ball get up and running, then we can look back at the number again. And then, change the numbers there. But just to get started, so I don't have to go out and work with you. Because that's what's going to happen. I'm at the point I'm going away. So that to me, if you pull a grand between you and Zamira, and Zamira do all, we hold together. And when you see the work I do, trust me. And then say, call Kanai. He's going to follow me all night. I'm telling you that, and I'm not telling you what you smoke. You're incredible talent. I know how many times I'm telling you, you are freaking incredible. You feel me? Design you pushed out that one night?
Yeah.
You're incredible. You really are. You're worth the money to me. You're worth the money. I just don't have the money to give you. I just don't have the money to give you. You're incredible with what you know. You know? That's the way you can do also. Just right now, and I'll travel to where we travel to stuff, say with the pod. This way I don't have to go out and work with it. Because that's what I'm at. That's why I'm this is where I'm at. I'm about to go get a daggone look for a job. What do they have when I get a job? I'm be tired. Freaking slinging comedy all day. I can't do this. Make it where I don't have to think about nothing but just what you need done. And you see what I do. Because I've been doing all that stuff part-time. Look what it's doing. And that's part-time work. I know it may seem like a lot in some cases, but that ain't a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. I'm just worried about I'm overselling it or doing or saying too much, you know.
That's why you write down and listen to her, let her your all that she wants, all her ideas, how she views you, into what you can bring for her, and then they'll tell you what your worth is. You know, if she's very nonchalant, cavalier, then you know, okay, it's a little more of a poker game. If she's just very free will and talking, then you know, okay, I'm worth a little more. You gotta feel the vibe. When I used to be a stockbroker, and we used to actually go after customers, we would begin a conversation and we would stop. And if they begin to talk, we never interrupted them. Let them spew out all they have to spew because they're engaging you now. If they stop, then you have to try to keep the conversation going. If she's just letting out her life story, whatever it is, then you know, okay, she's in it, she's committed to it.
You know what's funny? She did that on the phone. But anyway, I'm sorry, what you was going to say, Bishop?
No, and that's what I'm saying. If she begins to talk like that, she's letting into her world. To me, I see that your involvement or the investment in you on her end would be more than what I perceive from the fact that she's like that. Is that she realizes your worth. You know, there's just some people who invest money, who actually put their money to it. They look at it from a dollars and cents of that. You know, she might be looking for more women do. They're looking from an emotional standpoint, which would up your value to her. That's what the letter talk with us. You're all out. And then, you know, then you open up and say what you gotta say. Yeah. You know, but always the most important thing is, and I can't stress enough, is that she feels comfortable to disagree with you if she has to, or vice versa. Both of you have an open relationship where you can talk very openly about anything concerning the business and certainly about the truth. Don't never feel like she is something just perceives to be wrong she doesn't like that she's supposed to say. Don't go home with it on your head. Just say, I'm not going to get offended and I hope you don't. This way you can have a healthy relationship. If you don't have that,
yeah.
I think after you speak to them, then they may go to reside in the sense of, okay, we move forward, they're interested, and what you do in the conversation is you involve the brother. Meaning, because she's going to talk, this is her thing.
Oh yeah, I want him involved, and you know, I want him.
No. When I say involved, meaning he might be sitting in on it, but she's the one that's going to be speaking because it's her thing. But you got to remember, he's the pocket. That's what do you think about it? This way, you know, what do you think about it? Try to get him to interact a little bit. This way, saying, you know, this is a family. So, you know, and then he might say two pieces, he might go back to her, but you always allow him, you always give him a platform to, this is where wisdom comes in with you, that you still somehow involved in the conversation. You just don't sit there and he's like, okay, where do I sign? You understand?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's another thing you can consider with him, how you can open them also. they say, I understand and part of the clothing design has to go into women, I want to do men too, and understand the challenges that bigger men like yourself suffer in finding clothes that fit, especially, pants if they're not too tight. I know your wrist, listen to these words, I know that your wrist is bigger than the average man. So when you wear long sleeve stuff, you need something that's cut a little wider for your wrist. Trust when I say that. He's going to like, remember what I said, he's going to like this. Yep, you're right. You're right. But those are small details. What you want to do is you want to hit key points when you get the hit like this. Yeah. Once you get them nodding like this, you know, okay, I'm hitting all the gears in the right place. He's going to respond to that neck and that wrist thing. He's going to go, yep.
Yeah, she did. She mentioned that on the call. She was like, when we had the initial conversation, she said she's always wanted to do big and tall, which is big and tall. That's the
long, easy diet pads in that.
Yeah.
The design, you make it, you sit back, you come to the show designing on the money, on the back, and you get it on the manufacturing when you rock yourself. Because you ain't selling that stuff. When you go home, the warehouse is working, you're still cashing in on it. Yeah. You're still cashing in on it. And that's, to me, that's where it's all at. I'm like, all right, no problem here, but I know I'm going to sleep, and I'm just running. I still get paid. Yeah. Let me tell you about those t-shirts that you should get to the point where you guys are actually sewing t-shirts.
Oh yeah, cut and sew. That's what it's called, cut and sew.
Yeah, cut and sew t-shirts. You buy the t-shirts, and then on the other end, you all print the t-shirts. Yep. So you all can, on one end of the business, cut and sew t-shirts. I need 100 t-shirts. You all make 100 of these, and you all turn around, I need a print, or we print too. I know, and sometimes I tell you what I want to somehow be involved on the creative. I like creativity. I like to see if it ain't beautiful, it ain't hard, but it's tough. I like the creativity part. I like the inception, the concept. And
yeah, that's called being a creative director.
I love that part of it. I really love it. I know what looks good, what I like. I know, I have that mind, but what I'm saying is that what she's doing, and what you're trying to do together, it's going to benefit the nation. It's going to benefit me, because I know you could cook whatever I need to. I don't have to worry about being too controversial. I don't have to worry about, getting a bad reaction, not being fixed, if not, I even pay extra money just so that place can stay up. I'm going to produce regardless. I'm going to pay somebody regardless. So I'm going to keep Israel. And I know when I say something to them, all this is, they're not going to promise you so much. They're not going to, I'll do it. I got so many ideas that they can do. So for me, I need you to hurry to get this thing right. If you guys hold my business.
I'm going to read the scripture again. This is Ecclesiasticus 37. Okay, verse 7 says, every counselor extolleth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself. Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he have, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast the lot upon thee, and say unto thee, thy way is good. So as you see in the video, he's letting me know everything I'm about to do is great. It could benefit the nation. It could do all these things. For he will counsel for himself. And when I went back to this video years later, after everything that happened, which I'm going to elaborate on now, I watched this and I'm like, it was only until the end of everything that I could go back and be like, oh snap, he really was counseling for himself. He was using me to set himself up to get close to this family. And it says here, and say unto thee, thy way is good. Thy way is good. And afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee. By the end of it all, he was literally on the other side telling everybody I'm the damn devil. And I'm this and I'm that, and I'm a opportunist. And really, after a while, I had no mouth to really say anything, because now I'm discredited with everyone I know and trusted, between the leadership in Austin all the way up to the leadership in New York, and who knows wherever else. And how did I know this? Is because after a while, a lot of things started getting back to me. He's acknowledging in the very beginning that everything that I've been involved in has been with duct tape and bubble gum. What is he referring to? He's referring to all the work I've done with Original Royalty. Aside from that, him being my counselor, he knew about everything. Jobs I had, any little business endeavors I did with anybody, that were always on a shoestring budget, like he says, and me not having the money to really get the stuff off the ground. Then he lets me know that these people got money. And when he's saying these people, he's referring to this family. All right, this brother and his wife. And him reminding me that I did all this work for Original Royalty and never got paid for it, which I understand. It was never an issue in regards to, that's what I put it on the table for after counseling with Asaph when I initially came up with the idea for Original Royalty. He expressed to me this could help the body. And, Kanai in the video, he's helping me with a sales pitch, quote unquote. And then in the video, he says that if I pull this off, that he would move to Austin. And it's funny because eventually he did move to Austin. And throughout every step of the way in me dealing with this family, it was literally set up this way. I would run anything by Kanai. He would either tell me it's okay, or he would give me ideas or tell me what to say to them verbatim. And basically all his ideas and all his strategies was flowing through me, filtering from me to this family. Literally every single day I was calling him up and telling him, all the details of everything. Even when I got put in a position to really put the business stuff aside and really focus on them as a family to help them with counsel. So that became the primary focus after a while. And then Kanai really became the counselor in the situation. Right? I counseled first, and then he came in as the counselor. I remember Kanai in the video saying that, he was a stockbroker and he knew how to let people talk, and basically he would know if he got him on the hook or not, or how to get close to people. Like, he acknowledged that this brother is the pocket, he's the money guy. So with the counsel started, I noticed that he was really getting close to this brother's wife and counsel, always counseling. And he became like heaven sent to them. And at the same time, I noticed that he was counseling me out of the situation. But I noticed this tactic, and it was very subtle, and after a while it became faster and faster and became more and more aggressive. And within not even a month of me dealing with this brother, or not even, 2 months, next thing you know, the brother wants Kanai into the business. And I'm not in objection to it. I'm like, okay, brother, this is, you are the investor, so whatever you want to do, let's do it. Then it went from that to then immediately, I'm going to get a house and move Kanai into the house. And what I noticed was that there was always counseling going on between the brother and Kanai. And then every time that happened, next thing you know, Kanai comes back and things are changing. And next thing you know, he's moving down to Austin. I didn't object to any of this stuff. Why? Because me caring for the brother, I wanted what was best for him. So to make a long story short, Kanai moves to Austin. Next thing you know, I'm the devil now, and I get shoved out of the whole situation. But before I get shoved out of it, I saw what was going on, and I started writing a resignation letter with Captain UZZIAH. After I told UZZIAH all the details, UZZIAH tells me, he says, Bez, it sounds like you're the abused girlfriend in the relationship. And he told me it was all bad and that it was an ugly situation and that I needed to get out of it. Now, that's sad to say, being that, what did he mean by abuse? Meaning that I allow myself to be taken advantage of. That's what he meant by that. So he knew it. He knew what was going on. And at the end of the day, he, like everybody else, was, I would say, too intimidated to really say anything about it. Until it blew up in front of his house a little bit, he spoke up some, but then fell back eventually. Why? Because it wasn't beneficial to him to really speak up. So up until this point, I have watched Kanai get Judah to move down to Austin. I've watched him discredit this man. And based on how he moved with Judah, which I'm going to get into more details later, I was like, this is ugly. This is, all this don't feel right. The way it happened, how he positioned himself, how I wanted out. So I got this resignation letter written, but he got wind of it. Being I'm doing all the work, I'm doing all the graphics, I'm doing the websites, I am running the machinery, I'm printing the t-shirts, I'm doing fulfillment. I'm basically an employee, and he's the boss now. And mind you, we don't even have him on paper yet. It's still just me and the brother who Kanai calls the pocket. It's still under our name. He's not even involved. He's not even in it like that yet. He has been involved for a few months. We did Passover together. Everything was great. We come back. We finally move all the equipment to the Pocket brothers' house, and we off and running. And then immediately he goes off to Ghana. While he's at Ghana, I'm working on the Purple Rain video, which I was commissioned by Nathaniel to do it. And he wants the video done before he gets back from Ghana to look good to Nathaniel. So I spent all my time working on that video while he was gone. He comes back. He blows up on me. Discredits me in front of this family. And then from there, it just got real bad. So he got Judah. Judah's out the picture now. Judah's forced to go on his own and do his whatever he got to do to survive. I'm trying to get out of this situation. And I'm trying to do it nicely without disrupting what they got going on, the Pocket brother and Kanai. So the day comes for me to pay my rent. I go to the account to pay my rent, like we agreed on, that I would be pulling money from the account. And the account is at zero. Why? Because all the money got moved to Kanai's personal account. So I looked at this like a corporate takeover. Here you go, you move all the money at the account. I call Kanai up and I'm like, what happened to the money? He tells me, you a thief, Bez. I can't trust you. You figure out life. You out of the business. So I'm like, how can you just throw me out of my own business? I don't care if the website is yours. There's 3 websites on the table. Kanai's was just one of them. And his site became the focus as soon as he came into the picture. Why? Because he's the bishop. And so everybody's trying to please the bishop now. So I'd say, you know what? You've left me with no bargaining chips. So what I do, I close up all the accounts, the websites. I close up the PayPal accounts. I change all the passwords and everything, because I've had to force him to talk to me, because he had been avoiding me for weeks, just avoiding me. I'm not getting no rides. I'm not being picked up. And again, the pattern, because I saw him do the exact same thing to Judah. All of a sudden, he stops picking up Judah. He stops talking to him. And Judah was commissioned to do work too. So I saw him take his own best friend and start turning him into an enemy. And it was unexplainable. It's like, why are you doing this? So when I saw that starting to happen to me, I'm like, I'm getting out of this. So I got caught off guard that day. I'm thinking I'm going to pay my rent. And meanwhile, the scripture says this. Leviticus 19:13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Now, that gets disregarded. And this is the end result. So listen to the audio for yourself.
Something that they cannot get you with. You know, they are needing that narcissistic supply and they need to attack, but they just can't think of anything at that point in time. You know, they have no problem making up a whole story. So, lies. But they will tell those that are around you, they will poison with the lies that they make up. And they are so good at painting this picture of it is in such, it's a story that is usually in such depth and detail that anyone would believe it. No one would really question their story. So they will, by the lying, they will also blow things absolutely out of proportion. And, you won't see it coming. It'll just sort of blindside you. They do this, they blow things out of proportion to validate their false self. So that is another way of feeding themselves.
Mackie, everybody don't want to do business. Your cousins, everybody. Nathaniel said the same thing about you. And this what you do to me? This how you handle me, Bezaleel? You don't have enough? I don't care about you like this, Bezaleel, because I see a different side of you. You are a user. You use people. Not a dollar have I drawn from that business. Not $1. You're the only one making money. Come to work when you want to. Rap for you. Do what you got to do. But you'll change my password. Give me my password. Change it back. Then we'll talk. Not before then. Do me right with that. I didn't do nothing to you. I've done nothing but help you. Change back that password, and then we can dialogue. You're not going to hold the cards in this, Bezaleel. I'm telling you this now. You're not holding the cards. Change the password, then we talk. Put it back to where it was, then we'll talk. I'm not unfair. I'm not unfair.
So why did you move all the money out the account?
Because you're a thief, Bezaleel. You stole money out the account already. I don't trust you. I told you that before. That's nothing new. That's nothing new.
It's not. It's
So
just
wait,
helping your brother.
so you had no problem with him moving all the money to his personal account?
No, you know why? Because we have been trying to do this. And then the thing was, I tried to do it before, but the Hebrew market account, especially for that one, was under his name and it was his bank card.
I would say, what you saw with the money moving, you thought it was strategic to you. I've been complaining to him
Every
for
day,
at least the last
4 months.
Tell him move the money to account. And then I'm gonna tell you, I was pissed with him when he gave you $500 in the middle of the month and he didn't speak to me about it. I was pissed with him about that. I said, no, I didn't agree upon that. And he did on his own, and that's why I moved the money.
You know, they have no problem making up a whole story. So, lies. But they will tell those around you, I think the proper term is flying monkeys. I'm not too sure. I need to look into that. But those that are around you, they will poison with the lies that they make up. And
Fair.
So why did you move all the money out the account?
Because you're a thief, Bezaleel. You stole money out the account already. I don't trust you. I told you that before. That's nothing new. That's nothing new. You lied. Your rent went down, and we knew it. We knew it, and you wasn't honest. You wasn't honest.
My personal
You
story
wasn't honest. We said just take the rent money. You wasn't honest. That's why. I don't trust you. And I told you that before. You did the same thing with the church with the daggone hard drive. You're a user. You're a user. I want my stuff.
This is about
I
business.
want my stuff, Bezaleel. I'm not talking. I'll tell you now. There's no dialogue with him until I get my password.
You understand? Because what you did was wrong.
What's wrong?
What you did was
I'll
wrong.
go right now.
You're strong arming me out of the business.
Just like when you said Bishop, when me and you had the counsel about Bishop was using Bishop to overthrow the thing, ask Bishop what I went and said to him. I said, Bishop, using your Bishop card to go, you did. I said,
And that's what he's doing right now.
Listen.
That's not
Daddy,
right.
what did you just tell him?
I told Bezaleel to unlock whatever he did.
He's not listening to his counsel.
Y'all sit down. You.
Okay, hold up, Bishop.
No.
See what I'm talking about? You see what he does? Come on.
But you were like that conversation.
Hold on. Listen, stop. Listen. Nathaniel just told him exactly what I said. I said, unlock, you can't freeze me at my own stuff. He says he's not doing that. He's not listening to Daniel. I told him, unlock my stuff, and then we'll talk. I'm not unfair. What I'm pissed off is that Bezaleel didn't put $1. Hebrew market on paper doesn't belong to you nor you. Neither one of you. It's mine. I put my money and built it. So I'm saying, you know what?
You didn't put no money into building it.
Listen, hold on.
That was built off of my sweat and my work.
Listen, hold on, Bez. It's my money who paid for the stuff to get produced. It's my money. It wasn't your money. But here we go. He said, Nathaniel said, I'm listening with Nathaniel right now. Nathaniel said, unlock it. He unlocked my stuff and be fair.
I just spoke to him when I came downstairs.
Listen, Nathaniel's right here. He's right here speaking. He said, unlock it. You can't freeze me out of it. And then we dialogue. That's why I'm pissed off. Because Bezaleel works wrong. This is how he operates. When he doesn't get his way, everything, Nathaniel, if I tell you the whole story behind Bezaleel, unlock my stuff, and then we talk. I don't need, UZZIAH ain't going to make me do nothing.
It's not about making you do nothing.
So you going to listen to your bishop? Your bishop
I'm gonna listen to the bishop.
Do what he says.
But you're making this a congregational thing.
No. Hold on.
Because
listen to me, I called Nathaniel because I told him if he don't unlock my stuff, me and him have problems. This is how I fit my livelihood. You didn't do nothing with that. You think this. I don't want to listen. I don't say no more. Unlock it, and then we'll discuss. Listen, I gotta move. Everything. Listen. Bezaleel, I said before. Listen. Everything that you've gotten here has been handed to you and helped. Get to these, everybody trying to help you, and in turn, UZZIAH said he don't want to F with you. He bought a $5,000 computer. They don't want. Don't you start looking at your pattern of how people look at you? Bez, you don't come to work, and now it's like you don't get me back and forth to work. We want to buy your car.
I'm not doing this with you because all you do is talk. You shut people down. You don't listen to evidence. You don't listen to proof. When it comes your way, you use your bishop card to shut everything down, and that's wrong.
The bishop told you. He gave you counsel and said, unlock it. Are you going to disobey him?
No, I'm going to have a talk with him before I do anything.
So he just
because
told
if
you, you see what I mean?
Because I didn't involve him. I didn't call him. He asked me, Bez, what is this thing about you?
I called him for the fact that I don't want this to turn personal between you. Because that's what it is. It's not a business level with me no more. It's personal. That's how I'm taking it, as personal. So I said, call UZZIAH. Let me call UZZIAH. Let me call Nathaniel.
Listen, you have the name. You own the name. The Hebrew market is on your name account. You have that.
Listen to me.
You want the site? Go build a new site.
Listen to me. I'm talking about the password to the website. Bez, it's not yours. It's not yours. The email is not yours. Listen, I opened up the Gmail account. It's mine. It's not yours to lock away. You want to argue about what you think you owe?
I opened up the Gmail account.
Listen to me. I have not touched $1 from this account.
Stop throwing that in my face. Can I talk? Can I say something? Y'all want to know what my problem is? Or am I going to get railed on constantly by the bishop? Because that's all it is.
This is Kanai right now. This ain't the bishop.
I keep getting railed on by Kanai, who's uncompromising.
I'm not.
The pattern, we had a talk last week, right? The last time we were here, we had a talk. You said on the 11th, we were going to have a meeting. And like all the time, there's no follow through what you tell me. There was no mention of no meeting, and you know that meeting was to solve a problem that we've been having about budgeting, to keep me on as a graphic artist so I could keep doing things full time, right? And not worried about how much I'm pulling. We settled on all that. This whole month, I've been communicating with and I've gotten no replies some days. Then other days I get a response like I never text nobody. At the end of the month, every single day I'm communicating what's going on. I'm up at 9 a.m. and I'm sitting here waiting for a ride. For a ride, from the very beginning, I communicated that I don't have a car, that it's going to be a need from my part of the business, that I'm going to need rides if we're moving the equipment to the house. We agreed upon that. But every single day it's played off like it's just my problem. And I got to figure the damn thing out. That's wrong. And then at the end of the month, you use that I'm MIA, which the MIA part is not my fault. It's because nobody's coming to pick me up and nobody's talking to me. Nobody's talking to me. We agreed on that we're going to figure out the rides, and if not, I take a cab. So I'm excommunicating at the end of the month. You're going to use that and throw it in my face and tell me that I'm MIA? I documented every single day in every text and every communication, and you want to ignore that because it's beneficial to you for me to look bad and wedge me out of the business because that's the pattern that's forming. The pattern that's forming is get Bez out of the business. And I noticed that from when you came back from Ghana, Bishop, and in the conversation. See, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to cut me off, and you're just going to overtalk me.
Before Ghana, I wanted you gone. Before Ghana, I wanted. I said to you in the meeting, I said he needs to go. The minute you start taking money at the account for your own personal gain.
It wasn't for personal gain.
I took,
and Purple Rain made us $5,000 something.
But you didn't get agreement on what to take gas money.
making up a whole story. So, lies.
It wasn't personal gain.
That is your pattern.
But you call that stealing.
Listen,
You call that
if you take
stealing.
something without asking, it's stealing.
Come
That's the
on.
same you did with the
Okay,
hard
well, you
drive.
know what? The move that I made on that Purple Rain, that fuck Purple Rain video,
Hey, listen.
made $5,700 and some.
And listen, Bez, you cannot take something without asking. It's called stealing. That's what you do with the hard drive. The same premise. And I told you that before.
I didn't take the hard drive without asking. And this is the
Ben,
problem.
Ben,
You said we're going to separate congregational, business, and personal. That's a congregational thing and a personal thing I have with the brothers. You keep pulling things into the business. And that's the problem with having you in the business. And you bring all that stuff with you and it's wrong. And you apologize for it in the meeting. You said you was wrong for bringing in the stuff about Zephaniah. You said you was wrong about bringing in personal things of mine to people that had nothing to do with that.
Bez, what's the resolution?
Come on.
Because I don't want to do
Okay, the resolution is like you said on the phone the other day. You want to dissolve the business. You want to dissolve me out. We can do that. I have no problem with it. Hold up. Listen to me, Bishop. Listen to me. We dissolve the business where we're all in agreement. Not just you two in agreement or you in agreement with what you want. We all got to be in agreement. And after it's said and done, we put it on paper. I'll give y'all what y'all need. And I will help set y'all up for success. I'm not trying to see the business fall, but the way you're moving, you're strong-arming me like we're in the streets, Bishop, and that's wrong.
What is the agreement that you want? That's what I'm asking you. What do you need to solve?
I've told you. I want to sit down with UZZIAH. I already put what I want out the business on paper. I put all the documented records of my presence, all the money that's come my way from the business. I documented everything. I want everything on the table. I want us to discuss an exit plan for me and also how...
What's the exit plan?
Hold up. We got to discuss. I don't know what y'all want. You
I
might
wanna know
not want what I
want.
want.
I know that.
Then we got to meet in the middle.
I'm asking what you... That's what I'm asking. What do you want?
I'm not going to blurt it out right now. I want us to sit down calmly and look at some documents and we just settle it right there.
That ain't gonna...
The strings is held right here. I'm not unfair, and I'm not trying to cheat you out of nothing. That's never my intention. That's why when it's time, when we was driving back from Passover, I told Kaz, I said, the only one that should pull from the business is you, not me. I don't have what it offer right now. Bezaleel has a skill, what it needs to offer. And right now, I'm telling you, and I told you before, I'm freaking dead broke right now. I'm hanging on strings right now. I don't have shit right now. And I'm still not asking for no money. As a matter of fact, I'm turning down friggin' money right now. So it's not like I'm trying to bleed it or asking for some in return, but I'm telling you, the way we operate right now, it doesn't matter because Bez has his points, he has his perception that he sees, I know what I see, and we ain't budging on that. One thing we have to come to is come to a conclusion on how we end it. I want the email, I want the stuff back. What do you need from me? What do you need from the business to end this thing and it's over with? That's what I want to know.
And of course, what is also attached to this is the whole smear campaign. You know, once you have left a narcissist or you've walked away, or you know, you're trying to get your life back on track and you are trying to rebuild whatever was broken down, they will launch a full-blown smear campaign on you. So be warned about this. You have to outsmart them. You have to get cleverer at their game. So you always have to be one step ahead of them.
He basically pulled about 15 grand out of the PayPal into his own personal PayPal, claims that I'm a thief, that I was going to steal it, then in the same breath says that he moved it to because they wanted to close out the PayPal account. So that was a lie in itself. So seeing the family defend him the way they did, I realized, like, I'm by myself seeing this stuff, seeing what was wrong. Let's rewind a bit. How does Judah and Maserati play into this? In this particular situation, Maserati had nothing to do with it, but Judah did. And the way he comes into play was that when the brother who Kanai calls the pocket, he is moving down to Austin because Kanai told me to tell them they should move to Austin. Kanai tells me they should buy a printing machine. Everything I did was Kanai telling me to do it. Could I tell them that? No. Did I think at the time it was wrong? No. It's the bishop. I'm thinking this is godly counsel. So I'm literally just doing everything. Little did I know I was I was the tool being used for him to get close to the pocket, like he says. When he first gets the house, which is when things were like really awkward, right? So like, for example, I think it's his first few days there, he calls up Judah Mack on the phone, and I'm on another phone that he called me from, but he forgot that he called me. And Judah had just left Austin because Judah was up there helping the bishop move, helping Kanai move from Florida to Austin. Because if anybody knows Judah, Judah's been Kanai's right-hand man ever since Abiel left Florida. Everyone in Florida knows that Kanai and Judah were like inseparable. They were extremely tight. So Judah, looking after him like he's his father, he helps him move up. While Judah's there, I remember Kanai comes to me. He says, hey, listen, don't tell Judah nothing about what I'm doing. It's none of his business. He's always trying to interject himself into my businesses and my ideas. And, you know, I can't trust him, and so forth and so on. Sowing discord. To sow is to plant seeds. Discord is disagreement, argument, and violence. To sow discord is to say and do things which cause a group as a whole to distrust one another and begin to argue and then to fight. Sowing discord is something done in secret by deceit and subterfuge, sneakiness, gossip, and lies. Subterfuge means deceit used in order to achieve one's goals. Trickery, intrigue, deviousness, deceit, deception, dishonesty, cheating, duplicity, guile, cunning, craftiness, and to fraud. Now, I'm thrown back because I'm like, that's sowing discord. I barely know Judah. I've only known him from a few interactions over the years and over the phone. And here you are throwing shade on the brother. And I took it like, okay, you're the bishop. I'm going to listen. Why? Because we're taught that, you know, these are your fathers. You got to listen to them. They're your spiritual fathers, quote unquote. And, you know, they watch out for your souls. And we know all the scriptures that come behind that. So I'm not an objection. I'm like, okay, yes, sir. About a day or two later, Judah's back in Florida, and then Kanai has him on the phone. And on the phone, he's telling him verbatim, I'm on the other line. Judah, listen, you need to move down here. This is where the money's at. This guy, I'm going to call him the Pocket. He's, you know, I don't want to say his name. He says this guy has money. He's willing to invest. He's investing into the things I tell him to invest in. I can tell him to get you a job, to pay for your move, all these things. You need to come down here. Judah's on the other line on speaker, and I'm listening to him, and he's like, Bishop, I don't know. This brother's new in the truth. This don't look right. This is a bit much. And I don't want to be chargeable to this man for anything. What if he falls out? Then I'm gonna be stuck. And I have a good job here in Florida. Me and my wife are doing okay. I don't know. And can I raise his voice and started yelling at him? Judah, you don't listen. You see, you're unmanageable. You don't do what I say. I'm your father, and like a father, you're not listening to me, you know, as a son. And I'm telling you, you need to come down here. We'll find you a place, so forth and so on. Judah, at the end of the conversation, is like, all right, Bishop. All right, if you say so, I'm gonna talk with the wife, and we'll make plans. And then I'm like on the other line. I'm like, hello, Bishop. Hello. And it's Bez. Hey, Shalom. I'll call you back. Hung up. Now that didn't sit right with me because I'm like, hold up. He just told me the other day to watch out for Judah, but yet he's forcefully getting him to move down to Austin. So Judah moves down. We're rolling in the business. We're developing shirts. People saw us at Passover selling merchandise, and a lot of it. Judah's there, and what Judah started noticing is what I was noticing, but I didn't want to say nothing. And it was that Kanai was extremely, like, he was trying so hard in being close with his family, mainly through the brother's wife, the Pocket brother with his wife, that it was very awkward. And Judah was like, yo, this don't look right. He's constantly counseling the sister. He's constantly giving her all this attention. He's developing this weird relationship with this sister. And I'm not saying there was anything wrong with the sister. She don't know. She's unsuspecting. She's taking him as he presents himself. But Judah knows the man. And Judah started seeing a problem with it. And what bothered Judah was that a few months before that, before he even moved to Austin, and I remember this because Kanai was going back and forth to New York working. He was going back and forth working with his brother. Was that there was a sister, I don't know her name, but she was a book writer. And she came into the school and she was making big contributions to the school. I know because I saw one of the checks she gave. And I remember while he was up there, she, and this is before he moved to Texas. All of a sudden he became a counselor. And then maybe like 2-3 weeks after I see them together in the school talking, next thing you know, he's moving back to Florida. And I was one of the ones helping him in New York, checking up on him, meeting up with him, doing work with his brother, trying to position him to make extra money. Whatever I could do, I was doing it. He all of a sudden moves back to Florida and he got a 15-passenger van and a whole lot of money in his account. And Judah was saying to me that, he was like, Bez, this don't look right. Look at what's going on here. And then this just with this sister back in Florida. And then Judah would always tell Kanai, this don't look right. You going into business with this sister who's new in the truth. And she got this money and you coming back with all this stuff. And then here you are now with a new family doing the same thing. He confirmed my suspicions as far as like, this don't look right. It don't feel right. I want out of this. So once I think Judah voiced his concern to Kanai, and then Kanai flipped the script on him. Little by little, Kanai started distancing himself from Judah. And mind you, Judah moved down to Austin based on Kanai's promises of work and business and some kind of food truck thing that he got the pocket brother to invest into. And Judah started pulling back. He started pulling away because he was like, this don't look right. And he was trying to tell Kanai, this don't look right. Meanwhile, when he did that, all of a sudden, Kanai was finding any little thing wrong with me and blasting me in front of this family. And I'm like, you really trying to paint me out to be some kind of evil brother to this family, to where I had no voice. I couldn't say what was going on because it would look like I'm trying to retaliate against him for him, quote unquote, correcting me or checking me. So Judah all of a sudden became this guy that Kanai had to get rid of. And that's what I saw. So before I was even able to hand over a resignation letter to pull away from this business arrangement, Judah had already been discommunicated with Kanai. And then Kanai was going around telling people they had a fallout. There was never a fallout. I never witnessed a fallout. So now the day I'm ready to turn this resignation letter in was the day I had to pay my rent. So Kanai pulls all the money from the business account, is spazzing out, and he's already excommunicated Judah. Judah's trying to figure out how to even feed his family at that point. And I pull away, and he blows up on me, which I know it went around. Some people know about it. Comes to my house like he was gonna fight me, and we wound up getting Nathaniel on the phone. And the mistake I made was, instead of really laying out what happened to Nathaniel, I said, you know what, I'm gonna leave it in the Lord's hands. Why? Because the scripture says in 1 Timothy's let's get that real quick. 1 Timothy's 5:19 says, against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. So in this situation, I'm really the only witness because the family is defending him. This brother who he calls the pocket, this family who he said they got money, they're defending him. And I look at it as because they are literally under like some captivated spell from this man, from how he's been treating them, the attention he's been giving them. So they don't see him doing no wrong. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it in the Lord's hands, and we left it there. Did Kana apologize after that for his misbehavior coming to my house the way he did? Yeah, he did. He explained it away as to why. So I looked at it as like, that's not really an apology, but okay.
Although you can apologize, you can accept that apology. Apology accepted, but trust denied.
It could have all ended there. But what I saw was that he continued this campaign of slandering, sowing discord, trying to pin people against me. And then he started doing the same thing to Judah, telling people in New York, or telling Abiel certain things, basically painting this guy to be this evil brother. Meanwhile, they all going against their own judgment of knowing him, being seeing him as a brother. It gets to a point where me and Judah are like, you know what? You were left on your behind. I was left on my behind. We can't find work. Let's team up and let's try to make some money. So I team up with the brother in business, and we started Black Christ Matters. We started Judah Mac Mall. Well, they had some of that stuff going already, and I jumped in the mix. So there was a four-way business between me, Judah, UZZIAH, and a brother from Louisiana. Now, Kanai takes this as an attack on him and starts going to leadership all over the place, all over, I guess, whoever would listen to him, saying that we were doing these things to get revenge on him. And what I found out was that he was pissed at Judah for taking me away from him, right? Like I'm some kind of possession. So obviously his money opportunity, or one of them, got snatched up by Judah. And what we saw was this continuous onslaught to what we came to say amongst ourselves was like, yo, Kanai wants you out the school. Kanai wants you gone. Judah, Kanai is going to do whatever he can to get rid of you. And I said the same thing for myself. And what Judah tried to do in the midst of that was repair the relationship between him and Kanai, constantly calling him, counseling with him, talking with him, trying to repair the relationship, going to his house. And no matter what Judah did, Kanai just kept coming back with slander, going to New York, telling him that, me and him stole the Black Christ Matter idea and art from another piece of art that I did for original royalty. Check that out.
They have no problem making up a whole story. So lies. But they will tell those that are around you, they will poison with the lies that they make up.
My ear rang because I'm like, this fucker did the same thing to me. See, this is fucking Judah Mac. This is it. Then it was the Black Christ Matter. I said, look, the black said, this fucking guy, he doesn't see it. I said, this is a shit.
How is Black Christ Matters?
Because the image was backwards. It's the face, the same face flipped around. I said,
from what?
From Black Christ Matters to Death Before Dishonor. The face, the Christ face.
I drew that. I didn't copy it.
Listen.
Yeah, no, hold on.
No, listen, I heard the story before you didn't copy it. Everybody, all the leaders said, is the same face reversed. It's just one this way, one the other way. But here's the point. Satan now, in my mind, is saying, Black Christ Matters, that's Bez and Judah, okay.
We had our suspicions in the beginning, but Kanai confirmed it later on after Judah was put out, and him trying to convince me that Judah was the devil. All this stuff, Judah did not like what he saw. I didn't like what I saw. A lot of people in Austin didn't like what they see, but you know what? It became the elephant in the room that nobody wanted to talk about. And it caused a real uncomfortable wedge between everybody there. Some more than others. So in Kanai trying to justify what he did was right, and that this was God blessing him, is what he told me and other people, he was trying to justify him being in Austin by showing that Austin is making huge progress. And in doing so, he wanted me to do all these glamorous videos, and I refused to do it. I did like what you call a quiet protest. you know. So here I am. I feel silenced. I can't really say nothing. And now on top of him using me to get close to this family, now I got to be used equally to make it look glorious that he's in Austin now. I just couldn't do it. So in me trying to even mend the relationship, ignoring all the stuff that happened.
Apology accepted, but trust denied.
I'm sitting back watching him in this house that he got this family to buy him, having this brother like an ATM machine, the brother that he called the Pocket. And it was hard for me to sit there and see all this stuff and turn a blind eye to it as much as I tried. And I was wrong for doing that. So the scripture says, Exodus 20:17, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. I was guilty of being in a situation to covet after this man's money. When Kanai and I had that blow up where he came to my house basically threatening me about me shutting down the website to protect myself, even after the apologies came out, there was nothing being undone to repair that or to undo it. I was silenced after that to where it's like I couldn't really talk to the brother, because if I talk to him and I tell him everything that was going on, it's gonna look like I am lashing out against Kanai. I'm holding that guiltiness. I've watched Kanai extort Judah to come to Austin to start to be in another business with him, using this brother who he's calling the Pocket. Extortion, an act or instance of extorting. Law, the crime of obtaining money or some other thing of value by the abuse of one's office or authority. This is Habakkuk 2 verse 9. Woe to him that covet an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. The scripture saying, destruction to him that coveteth evil covetousness to his house. To covet another man's wealth to try to establish your own house is wrong, no matter how you think it's done. Even if you use counsel to take care of yourself, you counsel somebody who got money, and at the end of the counseling, no matter how long it is, you end up with all these things. You end up with a house, you end up with a car, you end up with unlimited budgets for any endeavor you want to do, no matter how ridiculous it is or how unsavvy of a business move it is, all because you have a title of bishop, you have a title of leadership. In me forgiving him and trying to move on, it's like Nathaniel said.
In Matthew 18:21, the Apostle Peter asked Christ, how often shall my brother offend me and I forgive him? 7 times. In verse 22, Christ said, no, I don't say 7 times. I say unto you, forgive him 70 times 7. And you and I stress over that, because what if he steals from us? What if he robs us? 70 times 7, he's going to keep doing it. No, Israel. When you've done something wrong, the first thing, in order to get forgiveness, you have to admit you've done something wrong and be sorry for it. No one ever choked to death by swallowing pride, okay? And the next thing you have to understand is that although you can apologize, you can accept that apology. Apology accepted, but trust denied.
So I forgave, but I couldn't forget. I'm in this man's house looking at all this like, yeah, the way you got all this stuff is just wrong. Anything that I got out of the situation was wrong because of how it took place, how it was done. So I trimmed my ways to try to seek love. And in that situation, I was wrong. And I watched Kanai destroy Judah's reputation because he was a witness to not just this situation, but to other things, as was I. I watched him grow in boastfulness to be able to do this to other people like Masharatia. And what were some of the other things that he told me in me being close with him that I should have spoke up on? I'll give you an example. He told me, and he taught Judah, that multiple wives is okay in today's time. That what he sees in the scriptures is that it's not talking about in the kingdom. And he told me this while I was living in New York right before I moved. And I didn't say nothing about it. He told me to stay quiet. He told me while I was in New York that I needed to ask Nathaniel to be given rank higher than what I had, right? To be made a captain. He told me that he knows how to manipulate Nathaniel in getting the things that he wants from him. He knows how to present things to him to get what he wants out of him. And that I needed to follow these steps to get this rank and not to tell Nathaniel that he told me that. And I went and did it, and Nathaniel chewed me out for it. And I didn't want to do it. Kanai basically was pulling them scriptures about obey them that have rule over you, to entreat the elders as fathers. So I had to do what he says, even though he was telling me to basically manipulate Nathaniel to get rank. He tells me about the multiple wives thing. He tells me on his trip to Jamaica, he was going to buy weed and make tea out of it. And, in this relationship, I'm hearing these things and I'm like, okay, don't say nothing to nobody, he tells me. And I'm like, damn. All right. So, I'm thinking that, okay, this dude is confiding in me. So he trusts me. So I have to, beret not a secret, as the scripture says. Like, that's what he would quote.
How narcissists can instill this false sense of trust with their victims in order to manipulate and have their victims lower their guard. I felt within a short period of time that I really could trust them. So what they'll do is they'll pretend to have this life of total transparency. Here's my cell phone password and you can look at it at any time. They'll leave their phone laying around. They might give you the password to their ATM. They might give you their computer password, these kinds of things. And so the victim thinks, well, okay, if they're going to be so open and honest and transparent, then I will too. And the reality is they're not being open and honest and transparent. It's all, like everything else they do, it's a manipulation to get you to lower your guard. So they might be giving you certain access to their life, but they're giving you intentional access to certain areas. All of their bad behavior is not going to be done in those certain areas, right? It's going to be done on the periphery of it. So you still don't really know what's going on with them, even though you think you might because you have access to all of these things. But the reality is they lie. They lie and they deceive. That's what they do.
And again, I trim my ways to seek love. I trim my ways knowing that these things were wrong, and I stood quiet on them and continue to, do whatever he says. And come to find out later on that Judah was told the same things. As we watched Kanai put all these things in place to get Judah out, we realize that he's burying the men who can say things, or the 2 or 3 witnesses that could say things against him. And I didn't know how to process this stuff, and nor did my wife. My wife, initially was trying to tell me, this stuff is wrong, that we shouldn't be dealing with this family like this, that, it seems a bit covetous and we need to stop. And it made her very uncomfortable. She gave me a hard time behind it. She didn't know how to process it.
But the biggest thing that I know that infuriated Kanai was she told the sister about him getting a house for free and that he's showing favoritism and that he's showing favoritism towards the pocket brother and his wife, and that the pocket brother's wife is showing acting a certain way because she's got the bishop's ear, and the favors and the gifts that are going from the pocket brother's family to Kanai's family, and that's what infuriated him. And I know he said he made a mention that he kicked her out because she was disrespecting you, but I have never heard of that. Now, how do you have anybody in somebody's house so deep you kicking another man's wife out of the congregation because of disrespect to her husband? That don't even make sense. That her husband, who is the Lord over her, handled that business. So that didn't make no sense. So, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know at the time. I thought that, hey, there's your wife got the devil on her. I don't know, because I didn't know for sure at the time that he was getting all these gifts from this brother, and that y'all's business endeavors were not fully on the up and up, meaning that he was a benefit. He was playing the filthy lucre, the bishop that was the filthy lucre that nobody, nobody realized. I didn't know that until later on, after that council, and I was sitting and you were speaking with me because of the stuff that was going on between you and Bishop, and you was telling me that, this is what she's just speaking what she had seen.
Well, I know from the very beginning, my wife was uncomfortable with the whole thing, and like you said earlier, you made a good point. You said that sometimes our wives will see things that we don't, and we need to listen to them at times. And I know I'm guilty of
Right.
from day one. She didn't want to have nothing to do with this, and I basically pulled her in because I thought it was a good thing to do, and I'm following under Bishop Kanai's guidance in detail for every move. So, she didn't know how to process it and lashed out. And lashed out meaning that she needed someone to talk to about it because nobody here was listening to her. And that's
I remember.
Right.
I remember how it went down.
Right.
I remember how it went down. And then and when she got kicked out, and that was one of the reasons. Knowing that, and knowing what she was trying to process, I feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for her. She got embarrassed. Hell, I even spoke in the council. You know what I'm saying? And I feel sorry for the sister. And that's why later on, some time later, I invited you guys over for dinner. Nobody was talking to me. I was over their house because you were doing work for me that I was paying you for. I was over your house a lot. So I'm like, you know what? Let me check on the sister's spirit. And I remember I used to ask you, how's she doing? How's her spirit? Because I was never with just kicking somebody. I ain't never been with that. Just kick somebody out and let them be out there. Especially somebody who said they sorry. Now this sister repented. She said she's sorry. They just kick her out. You know what I'm saying? And I understood all this is because of somebody's ego. Somebody's ego got hurt. So they because somebody's embarrassed or their pride got cut. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep this thing going. So I wasn't with it. That's why I invited you guys over. And I heard him mention Judah's doing his own thing. I'm doing the thing that I know that the Lord would do. The Lord was dealing with sinners, actual sinners. The adulterous woman that was about to get stoned.
Right.
And ended up, the mercy is what we operate in. I was never with that just kick a brother, kick a sister out, and then leave them out. I never agreed. And that's why I always got it. That's a lot of the reason that I was getting into situations with certain individuals in leadership above me. It's because I didn't agree.
Kanai came back and put her out. And I was involved in that judgment. My mom was in a place where Kanai could do no wrong. In processing all this stuff, I ain't never been involved in nothing like this. I ain't never been involved in no kind of extortion. Even when I was in the world, I couldn't bring myself to try to manipulate people out of stuff or, be fake to try to get things. I couldn't do it. So I didn't know how to process all this stuff. And it weighed on my spirit heavily. So in watching Judah's judgment and what led up to it, it just didn't sit right with me. So the very next day, I called Maserati and Judah. They told me that Nathaniel had reached out to them. And the situation had gotten to me what I saw as a explosion point, right? Now that Nathaniel's ear is involved, I go and call Nathaniel myself. So now the scripture says this. 1 Timothy 5 says in verse 17, it says here, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. So we know that based on this scripture right here, from here on down, is referring to the elders that ruled the church. Now, Timothy was the senior man at Ephesus when this was written. So this is for him dealing with older people. And then it says, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honors, especially they. So in this group of elders, there's a group inside that group that what? Especially they who labor in the word and in doctrine. So in that group, there's the elders or the older people that what? Rule, that taught the doctrine of Christ, that did the work. It says, I'm going to skip down verse 19. Against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. Then it says, them, meaning of these elders, them that sin rebuke before all, that others also may fear. Now, I went to Nathaniel, Judah went to Nathaniel, Maserati went to Nathaniel. Why? Because a lot of the things that was said to me in regards to, let's say, Nathaniel being able to be manipulated, the multiple wives thing, the weed thing, the extortion tactics, they were done to me in conjunction with the family or the brother who Kanai calls the pocket. It was done to Judah and him moving down, and then trying to get him to get into this business with Kanai. It was done to Masharathia with his online registration business. So now we go to Nathaniel, and I know I didn't talk with Judah or Mash about what I was going to say to Nathaniel. All I knew is that they told me Nathaniel wants the witnesses to come forward. So I talked to Nathaniel, and I tell him everything from the very beginning. I told him what I did wrong, what I'm guilty of, being part of extortion, covetousness, misleading this brother who Kanai calls the pocket, misleading him and his wife. I told him what Kanai's involvement was, that I was doing everything Kanai told me to do, being involved in the extortion method, that, you know, basically being Kanai's tool. I told him about the other things the other brothers told him about, which was, you know, Kanai saying he could manipulate him, telling me to keep things from Nathaniel. And Nathaniel heard this stuff, and instead of him saying, we got to have a council about it, we need to bring the deacons forward because there's 3 witnesses, there's 2 witnesses, there's 3 witnesses, he says...
Right. So I said that in your scripture because of the statement you said, these are children coming in.
Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. This point, it dawned on me how bad the situation is, because we're abusing, we're manipulating, we're extorting from people that come in, and this is wrong. And this is what he told me.
Right. So I said that in your scripture because of the statement you said, these are children coming in. You're right, these are children coming in. But the Most High called them, and as each child comes in, they have to go through the fire beds. They have to, or else they cannot be built up. You understand that? The Most High gives us the scriptures. Now he said, I'm going to put you through the fire to try you and see if you're going to apply what I've taught you, you know. And it's going to happen with all of you. It happened with me, Bez, all of us.
At this point in the conversation, I'm telling the bishop, we're supposed to be watching over the flock. We're supposed to be looking after these people's best interests. And Kanai being a leader, and other leaders that I saw here in Texas that didn't deal right with the people, like Shakia, some brothers in Houston, I said, we're all held accountable for this stuff. And what he does is he wants me to pull up the scripture about Diotrephes. And so he's comparing Kanai and the other leaders that I mentioned to Diotrephes. Listen up.
No, I want Diotrephes. Diotrephes, find me that. It's right there. Right. So anybody that didn't do what he's saying, he would throw them out. So now let me ask you this. Who set Diotrephes up? Other than the Most High in Christ. I'm not talking about the Most High in Christ. Right. They set him up, and he became reckless. And that's what we're going through now. We're seeing that brothers that are in leadership positions, some of them, not all of them, some of them are becoming reckless. And it's not clear to us at first. It takes time to be made manifest. That's what's happening there in 3 John. That's what's happening. So we're living Bible all over, guys. We're living it. That's what I want you to see. Don't give up faith. You just got to see we're living through this, okay? So don't let it grieve you when brothers come in and people take advantage of them. It happened back then with the apostles. They had spiritual power when it happened. How much more now with us? You know? They could have shrunk his head and killed him. You know? And it was still happening with them. It's happening with us too now. Just endure, guys. Don't give up. You know, don't get emotional. Tell you, the Most High is His will. Let His will be done. Don't be upset. Don't let it bother you. It's not bothering me. You know why? Because I know, second Ezra said, they got to walk through this path. Whether it comes from me or another brother, it's going to happen. And then, like Christ said, woe unto them by whom the offense comes. So if the brother can't correct himself, if it's true, I'm saying, if it's true, then the Most High is going to step in. I know it. You know. So guess what, Bez? Again, the Most High is saying to you, I want y'all to go through this fire. You're trying to pull them from one fire, you put them into another one. Moses said, listen, mind your business. I need this man to grow up and grow. You keep interfering.
Justifies it by saying that the brother who's being called the pocket needs to go through trials in order to grow. In talking with him, it all hit me of how devastating this is, how foul I've been in allowing myself to be manipulated in this way, being part of some kind of scheme like this, not saying anything prior. And the fear of the judgment I could face with Christ, it hit me. So me, Judah, and Mosh, we stay quiet. We left it in his hands to deal with it. Did he deal with it? No, he didn't. He disregarded this scripture that says, them that sin rebuke before all. Of what? Of these elders. So instead of dealing with it, and instead he tells me at the end of the conversation, which I didn't get to record, we get off the phone. He's like, listen, I'm not going to let this organization fall for no man. He's not going to let the organization fall for no man. Okay. And I say, you know what? I'm going to leave it in the elders' hands to deal with this. And I'm waiting to be called in. I'm waiting to all this stuff to come to the light. Trust me, after certain things started happening with Kanai way back with this family, I started trying my best to keep logs and document, because I knew that one day no one was going to believe me if I spoke about this stuff. So I had to keep records. All right? I didn't want to do it. I had to do it.
Although you can apologize, you can accept that apology. Apology accepted, but trust denied.
Kanai comes to me one-on-one after soon after that, after the Sabbath. And, he wants to talk about it. So I'm like, okay, Nathaniel, you probably spoke to him. In this, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to squash this, because hopefully this is going to work itself out. And in the conversation, Kanai's giving these vague apologies. He's not really acknowledging anything he did other than reveal lies he spread, that I'm like, yo, why, you straight up lied saying that I stole this art from Nathaniel. The Black Christ Matter stuff was done to, go against you. And really all he did in the conversation was continue to try to slander Judah. It's like he was obsessed with this guy, and he was not trying to fix anything. He was just justifying what happened and his actions.
When apologizing, the narcissist is in fact repairing the cracked illusion of perfection. They'll bring up some sub-story why they went about hurting you. They will never get to the root of the problem. They will never apologize by acknowledging their wrongdoing. So they will go about it in a roundabout way, which just has you questioning, what are you talking about? Because they will launch into this huge story they will put onto you, and you'll be thrown off balance, because it's all about them justifying their behavior, justifying who they are.
So if there's something, get off your chest to me.
Looking back in hindsight, I never sat well with how everything went down. And we talked vaguely about it. In the midst of all that, it was how Judah moved, how you got Judah to move down, because he did move down here because of you. Yes. And then how everything went with him, I saw from my perspective how the relationship broke down. And and I know it affected the congregation indirectly. It was the elephant in the room for a long time. And with Judah, it was like he would encourage me, I would encourage him. There was things we would hear from the outside, things coming from New York, or this was said, and da-da-da-da. And it would, he would look at it like, well, it's Bishop. He's the only one that has this information, him and UZZIAH. It's the same thing for me. What I was seeing was, it was like a different spirit on you. You weren't the Kanai I knew after a while, and it affected our relationship, which hurt me a lot, because you know how I looked at you, and you know how much I valued our relationship. Your family, I love your family. So even from before, I used to look at it like, and I used to tell Judah, I have a feeling it's like Bishop's not going to stop with you until you out. And I didn't like the idea of it, but it was just the way I would see him trying to patch things up with you and humble himself, and it was like you were still hard on him. You were still, dealing however you were dealing with him. And I know that the root of it all was from the things we did and you coming here and all that stuff. So it bothered me, you know, and it sat on my chest for a while. And I think with everything happening with him and Mosh and then him moving and all that stuff, it popped, you know what I mean? And it's like, it is what it is. I pray for you and I pray that things can go back to the way they were. I pray that, you know, whatever was there, it's working itself out. Remember the time you counseled me when I was trying to have that business meeting with Shaq and I screen recorded it? And going through my stuff, I watched it again.
You don't have to explain what it is, what a recording is. I could care less. I'm not so much trying to delve into that. Most of what I was trying to say with the recording was that he's like, yeah, and Bez got recordings from 1088 and stuff like that. Bez, I'm telling you something. That stuff.
1088? What is it?
That's what Judah said to me. He said the stuff from 1088 prior to me. So when he was talking about me, but then he said it went back even before that. But here's the point behind it. Whatever it might be, it's like a provision that you hold on to feel like you have to defend yourself, or if it's something there and it's sin, expose it. If it's to defend your credibility on something, there's nothing happened to you. That stuff weighs on you and it holds you back. And I tell you, same trick bags or a lot of things. What my strong points are and my weak points, I'm able to see them for what they are. For me, forgiveness is very easy for me. I don't hold on or harbor nothing. Whatever has transpired with me and you, or even me and Judah, me and anybody, I can move on from that. Now, that may not be my weak point, but for some people it is. And I think for you, because you hold it, it torments you. And like I said, you're not going to go for the ham sandwich, but it's that bitterness that stills your stuff. So what I'm saying it for is because, guess what? Me and you don't have no issues. You know, we're cool, whatever it might be. I know in the back of your mind there might be still stuff lingering, but when the issue happened with Judah, it was able to activate you because Judah has something going on. Now I'm going to tell you, my situation with you and the situation with Judah is vastly different. It just happened to be coincidental that you and Judah paired up. But it's two vastly different things. I don't view you the same way I view Judah. I view him differently. Not saying that he can't repent or anybody and we can move on. But it's totally different with that. When you said, you said the breakdown between us and that, my issues with Judah started long before I came to Austin. It was stuff but I never expressed it to anybody here. Captain Kabash and Captain Ryman kind of knew, but I didn't express it to nobody. So when you said it seemed like I was gunning to get Judah, no, I wasn't. When Judah made right with me, when Judah began to try to, Judah has been apologizing to me, Bez, from Passovers in Orlando for his disrespect. This is 2014, 15. Hoshai was like, yo, you out of order, you disrespectful. This is nothing new. So he came here, you kind of got on, you seen that side of it, but you didn't know that this is nothing new I'm dealing with Judah.
And of course, what is also attached to this is the whole smear campaign. Once you have left a narcissist or you've walked away, or, you're trying to get your life back on track and you are trying to rebuild whatever was broken down, they will launch a full-blown smear campaign on you. So be warned about this.
But what I was trying to say is that, and I don't want to make this about a Judah thing right now, because Judah said he's sorry again. When you tell me you're sorry, fine. You still in the fight, fine. But my intentions was never to root Judah up or root you out or root Mosh out. When me and Judah reconciled, and I told you when we reconciled, I tried to help you. You know what? Bishop didn't want him taking that t-shirt money. He's like, no, you take it. He said, original royalty doing it. If not, you could do it. I said, Bishop, let Judah make the money. I know their business need the money. That could have been mine. By my actions, I'm trying to show that I don't care. I could have been like, fuck that. Let me take the money, 7, 8 grand. I'll make that money myself. Nah, let these brothers eat. They need to eat too. Judah, I actually got mad with me. Okay, I'll pay you for Passover. Judah took that pay and so telling Captain Ryman that, yeah, Bishop need me. I was going to say this thing, yeah, Bishop need him. Instead of Judah don't have a humble spirit. But hopefully and I'm gonna get back to it, hopefully he see the errors in his ways or whatever. You're different. I never got from you, even on problems that you were trying to circumvent me, overshadow me. Judah used to take stabs and shit that I wasn't telling nobody at Tabernacles 2 years ago. Judah was trying to take stabs, say comments, that little stuff you see what he did in the class that we said he did. That shit, Judah, he had to come to realization that I know that's him because Judah did it the same shit in Orlando. He did the same thing at Tabernacles. But if I say it's like, what are you talking about? I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. Judah should have been taken down. The reason why Judah didn't go down, so he didn't get demoted so long before that was because of me. Because Bishop said, won't you just freaking take him down? But I want to see him work. But what struck me when he was saying that is that he was saying that, you know what, my spirit was kind of feeding off of Bed's spirit, and I think I was feeding Bed's spirit, and I told him, we got to stop that. I'm like, wow, this thing, I really didn't see that. I'm like, and then what struck me is when the issue with Judah, somehow he got you on board. And I'm like, yeah, he's nibbling on this stuff. I need him to hear from me. Bez, if there's something I did to you, something you got to give your chest, I'm willing to hear. I'm not trying to defend anything. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I'll move on with stuff. And I want you to be able to, because that'll be your Achilles heel, to make you feel wounded, that you can't recover. And remember, I always say in classes, it's not the one incident. It's small little pieces to a puzzle. You have to give Satan no place to play in there. And I just want you to hear from me. I love you, Bez. You're my brother. I am sorry how the business transpired. I still regret the way I handled myself in front of your house. And I told Captain Uzziah, I said, I'm so embarrassed that I behaved like that. I was totally out the spirit on how I dealt with it. There's other ways I could have dealt with it, but I let my emotions take me over, and I regret that. I regret my actions.
What I saw from it was that you're at a place, we're all gonna get there one day, where we get to a certain age, certain things aren't in place in our lives, we grow our families, we have certain responsibilities, and things can get very desperate, you know, and it's like you start, or say you or I, any of us can start latching onto things and not really see what we're doing spiritually. In trying to figure out why things went the way they went and why what you counsel me to do and not to do, you wind up doing yourself.
Give me an example of what it was.
It's a few. The screen recording that you know about, because I told you I was recording it for my reference. In hindsight, after looking at it going back, it's like, oh shit, he did all the exact same things on this recording that he told me not to do. He wound up doing himself. Judah saw it, and even so, I'm not bugging. I sent it to you. I said, Judah, watch this. Am I tripping? Am I wrong? Do I sound like I was trying to take advantage of Shah? Or, you know, and when he saw it, just trying to figure out where things went wrong, what's going on. Are you continuing it? Is this something that was just a moment in time or whatnot? And in all the discussions, it was always like, let's just pray, leave it in the Lord's hands. Hopefully this all works out.
Now, I want to say something to you, and I would like to know what is it that I said that I ended up doing. Let me explain the reason why, so I can examine myself.
Right.
I'm never from a place of delusion. I do want to say this concerning Judah. Judah is, and I'm explaining to you why. Judah is a methodical angler. He's very charismatic. He has a way about himself. Now, Judah has good qualities, so I don't want to make it like I'm trying to knock him. But Judah is a manipulator in situation, and he moves things in his direction. An example, I say that. Why I say that for? Because I don't just say it and leave it open-ended.
Right.
When the whole thing went down with Zamira, calling Zamira had to leave, it wasn't so much what she said against me, is the disrespect she showed to you. Judah invited you and Zamira over for dinner. Now, Judah knows she's out the body until further notice. What does he do? He goes around because Judah knew that at that point we weren't bad, but the roads was rocky a little bit with the business, whatever. Judah began to see, and I told Judah, I know what he did. Judah began to see, you know what? I'm going to align myself. Bez, you want me to talk to Bishop for you? Bez, he was feeding on the little problem, and I say that to say because he did that with Captain, with Yadan. When Yadan got demoted, he called Yadan, you all right? And I said, yeah. You sure everything right with the demotion? How you feel? Yadan said, I'm good. Whatever, I'm good. He said, all right, I'm going to stop fucking with you. Don called me, this before all this happened, this is when he got demoted. He said, Judah tried to bait me. Now, I wasn't talking to Don about Judah about nothing. He said, Judah tried to bait me. He's trying to see if I was wounded anyway, so I could start gossiping and saying shit. So I'm saying that with Zamira, he knew. Ariella said to him, Cap, she was put out the body until further notice. He said, nah, that's not for me. I'm a captain. So when I spoke to Judah, I said, Judah, what are you talking about? I'm with you every day. You never told me this. You want to have, I said, now you make me and UZZIAH look like the bad man, and you the good guy with Zamira and them. You love her. Now, we were still in business. Not too long after that, the business fell apart. Bez, cool, I'm here for you. Judah, not one time, if Judah really had love for the brotherhood, he'd be like, Bishop, Bez, come on, you two, stop this stuff. Okay, you ain't business partner, but this stuff ends. Blesses the peacemaker for their inheritance. He never one time tried to facilitate because he knew he had my ear, he knew he had your ear. He didn't do that because he saw himself moving the business. He saw himself to use you for what he needed for to try to project his stuff. He'll say, no, it's not. But guess what, Bez? When you and him started having your business problem, that's when I knew he started to come close to me and started to begin to tell me a little bit about you, about the business, well, how you two was falling apart. So I'm like, okay, so I see. Judah is a manipulator. Look at Masharathi. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm trying to tell you, so the reason I'm saying that for is so when you share the video for him or whatever you saw, you're saying it to somebody who already has an angle. You remember I told you when we first, me, you, and Bez were talking about the business, Judah interjected himself in our business meeting and said, hey, can I get down? He know his place because Judah himself is desperate trying to find something. But Judah has a spirit of emulation, covetousness. I'm telling you, I could go through stuff that happened in Orlando, I'm telling you how Judah, but nobody would know that. So in sharing it with him, you share it with somebody who's already, is not impartial. Judah moving here, I heard Azaniah tell somebody, Bishop forced Judah to move to Texas. I never forced Judah. God is my witness. The reason why I asked you to move to Florida, because I know my brother was struggling in daggone Orlando, slinging boxes. The year before, I paid Judah out of the Passover. I said, Judah, guess what? I know you're struggling, brother. We're about to do this food truck. Come on down. I'm going to have work for you. Judah, what do you need? I said, well, he said, this is what I need. $6,000 he got from me, $7,500 to work for 3 months, up front, plus whatever money he had. Judah said from his own right, okay, what I have and with that money, I can make my way here. He got here and he began to hang his hat too high. So before the 3 months was up, Judah was spinning the story like, well, I was just sitting there not doing nothing. But you were paid 3 months in advance. So if you have to sit down for 3 months and do nothing, you owe that man 3 months. A month and a half in, Judah's going broke. But he said, I said, Judah, that's what you said. Well, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. So what? You got paid. You got paid for a job. You still owe this man time. Well, I said, you make it seem like, well, now the food truck is not running. Okay. We gave him a few $1,000s.
I remember all that. I was there.
Yeah, so I'm trying to say. So, but Judah, but he sat down in the car with me driving to Dallas one day and said, yeah, it's your fault. I said, Judah, man, this is a month. I said, Judah, we had a big argument in the car. I said, Judah, man, you're in the wrong spirit. Everything you asked for, we gave you. Plus, we gave you more. I said, you have I said, you know what? I said, you got an evil spirit on you, the way you're behaving. You act like I brought you here, and I brought you here to fuck you. I said, I would never do that. I said, and if you gotta cause hard times, you gotta cause hard times because you see how class is living, what I'm doing, and now you hanging your hat. This is Judah. Judah is a competitive person. He always try to keep up with the joints. My car's better than your car. My things. That's what he used to do to me. This is better than this. He's always like this. You know who's acknowledged that? Listen to me. His own family members have acknowledged that. That they spirit. The young boy, the same thing. But his problem was that he couldn't acknowledge it. So I said, Judah, let's say things got bad. Do you think I would never move you into my house? There's no way I'd let you be homeless here. When I was in Orlando, I had a little BT. I always shared with you. I've always looked out for you. I would never leave my brother flat. But because Judah have that covetous emulation spirit, that he doesn't see it, and he's blinded by it. So I tell you, with the Zamira stuff, I'm like, now when I look back, I'm like, oh, you was parlaying that, priming it up for something. And then if it was, you didn't say nothing to me. You just went ahead and took it upon yourself. I'm the bishop here. Captain UZZIAH is second in charge, and you just go invite them over on the side. Now, Bez, that's his wife. He got to deal with her. But he got to prime her up. You invite them. That's Judah shit. Fight you over for dinner, little barbecue. That's his MO of how he warms people up with the bullshit. Here we go. To make a long story short, to get to the end, what happens again? Judah apologizes again for the way he handled it. And I tell you, he only apologized, I felt, is because when I kind of, come on, you're giving me about a blue waffle? Are you, Judah, he's trying to make it some great evil, but I think and they told me this. I said, when that whole thing happened with the Gina Blue and she defended you, now you look like you was defending the evil. Right. Now your ass got hemmed up. Your purposes failed. Even though you try to play. In Orlando, he told his wife and them to keep Parya out of the kitchen. She can't be in it. Parya's the one who ordered, you see all that cooking and for the Sabbath, that's Parya starting it for the whole nation. She can't walk.
Yeah, I remember.
So I'm trying to say, Judah, you're a manipulator. You're a manipulator. So now that you try to play slick about these comments you make here, and with Judah, he never sees it. No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean this. It's never one time, you know what. But after he'll do all that, at the end he'll come back and apologize. So Judah, we didn't have to go through that. Mosh apologized. You think them two brothers lied? They just, I didn't look for the men. They came to me. They both lied. Mosh could not humble down.
Right.
And so I'm trying to say, all that stuff in him doing, he started off the foundation of it was wrong the way he handled. Judah wanted to circumvent me, and I told him you're doing the same shit Raziel did. I give you a little bit of power, and now you run with it, and you're not worthy of it. That's why I said with you, it's different. That's not your spirit. I give you a little bit of power, and now you run with it, and you're not worthy of it. That's why I said with you, it's different. That's not your spirit.
Right.
You're not like that. So even though we both, me and you had issues, and me and him had issues, you guys kind of merge your issues against me, but it's vastly different issues. It's just by coincidence or convenience, feeding off of both. But that being said, here's what it is. So I want you to know, whatever's best, I truly apologize. And if there's something that I need to examine myself at, please tell me. So, because one thing I'm not going to do, I don't want to live in delusion.
Well, I'm going to say this. You know, the root of it all, to be honest with you, is business. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the scripture says the love of money is the root of all evil. Mm-hmm. So whatever evil is there, it's been from the necessity of money, you know, in some way, shape, or form, whether minute, small, you know, and what it seems like is that the congregational stuff influenced the business, and then the business stuff influenced the congregational. Meaning, like, you talked Judah to coming down here, and I was on the call when you did it, right? I don't know if you realize it, but you had him on the phone, you had me on another phone, you didn't realize I was on the phone, and you're telling him to move down because Josh is investing, and he's like, I don't know, because Josh is new, and da-da-da-da, and you like, Judah, listen, I'm your spiritual father, and da-da. You don't listen, Judah, you hard, and then the next thing you know, he's moving down. So that was more the business influencing him to move down, was then affected the congregation.
But do you understand, in me doing that, is because
I understand. I hear you now. I hear you now.
Okay.
So I'm taking it all in. I'm just telling you, you asking me, and I'm giving you like the overall, right? Then, you know, in a lot of things, it was like congregational influences business, business influences congregational, and it all creates a bad stir. And even in that, the scripture says that as a nail sticker between two pieces of wood, so the sin between buying and selling. And I've thought about that scripture a lot, and it's like, what's the space between a piece of nail and a wood? That's microscopic. So in other words, if I'm examining that, that means we can all be in sin with the buying and selling and don't even realize it. You get it? And so in hindsight, you know, watching how all this happened, and like you said, yeah, we merged our problems because in a way he felt like a victim. I felt like a victim in the sense of the whole business and congregational dealings. You know, like what the scripture talks about the king and the rich man, you know, you got to deal with them a certain way. In a lot of aspects, you're the king in the situation because you're the bishop. You get it? So, you know, by default, you trump a lot of things. You get what I'm saying?
No, I get you.
So, you know, and I learned a huge lesson in all of that. And I think, you know, after it's all said and done, I want to focus on the unity, the brotherhood, us, our relationships, the building of this congregation, and I really want to keep business out of it, for, you know, as much as possible.
I get
because it's not worth it for me. And that was one of the reasons why I even split in the business with Judah. It was because we were doing good business. There was a lot of potential, but I looked at me and I was like, I don't work well with people in business. I have to examine myself, and I pulled away and I told them, look, I just want to pull out because I don't play well with others. I need to play by myself in the sandbox, you know. And we parted ways. Everything was fine. There was no problems. And I wanted to focus more on being brothers versus being business partners.
I get that.
But I think, you know, now it's like I'm over it. You know, I'm not.
I want you to know, Bez, again, I'm saying to you is that just be able to identify that whatever is transpiring with Judah and myself, somehow there's a part of you that was able to be activated by our issue.
Right.
You understand? And that's what I'm more trying to draw.
And I'm gonna tell you what it is. It was the fact that the whole him even coming down here, it was all the birth child of what we embarked on.
And I tell you, I have so much regrets and offering, but the whole premise of me bringing him here was to help him. Everything that I promised him, I gave him, and I gave him more. That's not my opinion. That's exactly what happened. But Judah is just a covetous person, and he's able to mask it very well. He has a spirit of emulation that he's able to mask very well. So it was never, and that's what said with you and I, with the two vastly different things. In the business, between us, and you said something that's right. You says, and I told you, Judah, I said, you said about the king, like, you know, who you go up against. If it's sin, it don't matter who it is. Right. It's going to flounder. It's not going to last. It's a sin. It's going to flounder. It's not going to last. And I told you, I said, in all business dissolving, me and Bez, or me and you, I said, all relationships dissolving, one thing I've always tried to project is I don't hold no animosity. And I try to show it by, listen, I'm the bishop. Shit flows through me, at least financially. I know what y'all do in your business. You know, guess what? Let me see if I can help y'all some way. Let me throw business at y'all. You need to make money. Here's money for you to make money. Here, I don't move in the spirit of, damn, that shit, the way fucking Judah is looking. You know what? Nah, I'm taking all this money. I'm not going to get shit. So that's why I said, Judah, while I was doing it, Judah's just taking fucking jabs. But you know what it was while Judah was taking jabs? And I'm telling you, I know we was rocking at one point, but Az and I was showing me his ass too. And also,
what you say?
Yeah, you know, it became, but I still taught classes about not bearing grudges, not holding anything. But what Judah didn't want me to do was be vocal. I guess even with Mosh, the mistakes he was making. I said, Judah, Mosh, you're making a mistake. Here, this is what you're doing. And I know Mosh went back and told him, but look what Mosh turned into. He turned into lying. So it can't be right. Right. You don't get me. He turned to lying, and then Judah, you see the lie, and you still won't even acknowledge it. That means it supersedes even what's right from wrong. You're blinded by it. So you know, sometimes, like you said, it just spiraled into something. But I didn't want to have this conversation with you on the phone. I'm good with Judah. I have no problem with him. He said he's sorry. Hopefully he'll fix it. I hope he strengthen himself. I told him I was worried about him going. I even told him I was worried about you. After all this, I said, man, I'm worried about you going to Kentucky. I'm really worried about you going to Kentucky because you're going to be away from the body. And you know, you just got to keep your mind in these scriptures that you know repair. But I said, look at what's transpired. I said, this whole last year, I said, you're disrespectful. Mosh been disrespectful. Your wife has been disrespectful. Your son has been disrespectful. I said, people feed off of your spirit, Judah. You don't realize you're very persuasive. Your people feed off your spirit. And when your spirit is right, now when you try to get right with me, guess what? Now you're trying to get your wife in order because she's out of order with Pariel. But then, when do you turn around? Your wife's trying to get right with Pariel? Now you become disrespectful. I said, you're flipping people. You're pulling people to and fro. I said, but all this, the end of it, what did it amount up to? It amounted to you having to stand before everybody and apologize. I said, so all that shit was bullshit. You put yourself through that shit for nothing. And then what struck me again is that somehow Bez's name got caught in it. I'm like, me and Bez don't have shit. And when he said, I'm like, okay. And that's what he said about feeding off each other's spirit. So again, Bez, I apologize for whatever it is. Bez, just be able to examine that in yourself and don't let Satan use that as a catch to catch you, that there's some bitterness in it. And you're right, but in business, there's some sin in there in business because the scripture says, as the nail sticketh to it, sin is there. Is it the love of money? I disagree, but if there's contention, there's evil, every evil work.
Right.
There's every evil work there.
Right.
And in business, like in marriages, like I said this before, when you get in business, you're getting married to somebody, and all the shit you have in you and that person have with you, you're gonna try to mesh it together and fix it. Like you have in a marriage, you take two people and there should be total problems that's going on. Only difference in marriage is that you're stuck.
Right.
In business that you're not.
Right.
But still, if things split apart, there's damage that's caused behind it. There's damage caused behind it. That's why, in business, it's very hard. It's very hard to work business. Sometimes it's best to play in your own playground because of the things that could rise. Because this relationship don't end at the business. It spills in here.
Right.
And then we're here, and there's bad blood, and it's, it just becomes muddy.
I want to circle back to how it was. I miss you.
I love you, Bet. That had never changed. You should see my spirit. You know how I love Zamira. I try to support y'all. I don't hold on things. I just don't want there to be something that is harboring your spirit. That if we're around each other, like I was saying, that his heart is not with thee, because my heart is with you. I feel bad about that stuff, but I don't hold no animosity about anything. I felt I was wrong. You felt you was wrong. Shit didn't work out, but that should have nothing to do with our spiritual relationship. It's just that, just certain shit you just don't do. But you're my brother. I love you. There's things about you that I mesh with, and I know because I know you're genuine. I know you really care. I know that that's part of the nature of who you are, and I miss that part of it. I miss it. I just don't want you to feel that that can never be repaired. It can be. That's why I invite you to my house. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to. The reason why I don't invite like that as much is because I kind of pulled away from that. How I used to be in Orlando, I kind of pulled back from that because I'm trying to be more guarded on leaving my time accessible to everybody. Because once I invite one, it turns into, I don't want my house to become the hangout house for everybody. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to build that relationship. I want to be a father. But me and your relationship is different. I have a relationship, even with Judah, my relationship with you stems before Judah. I have another relationship with you, even though Judah, I take him as really close to me. But I have a different relationship with you than I have with Judah. So listen to me, I love you, Bez. You're my brother. Listen, Zamira, I love her. I love everything about you too. And I'm glad you two are strong. I pray for your business. Y'all do what you got to do.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
When you were bringing out the stuff about Judah, you said, I am IUIC.
What I meant by that, and Judah took it. I know he tried to use it as I'm trying to super.
No.
I'm gonna explain what I meant by it. I was referring back to Raziel. Raziel was in Orlando, and just happened to be when Raziel decided to bug out. Raziel was going to pick up and move to San Diego. This is what he said to me. Bishop, I'm looking to move to San Diego. There's a job out there that's going to pay 6 figures. I said, oh yeah? He said, yeah. He said, I don't got it yet, but I'm going to go out there and Lord's was going to work out. Right. So he started off with 6 figures, but he don't got it. I said, Razi, that don't make no sense to me. I said, San Diego is one of the most expensive places. You can't even bid. He couldn't afford to pay rent where he was at.
Right.
He said, Bishop, okay, I hear you. I'm not going. I said, cool. So Razio came to me months later, whatever, said to me, out of blue, Judah's with me. He said, Bishop, I need to talk to you privately. I said, what about? He said, about your son. I said, you can talk in front of Judah. I think he's going to try to check me like Kanai's doing, one of my kids doing something wrong. So you know the height, say what you got to say.
I remember you told me about that. He blamed you for Kanai.
Yeah. So I'm looking at him
he
like,
spazzed out on you.
I'm looking at him like,
I remember.
Is this dude serious?
Right.
I mean, you got a 2-year-old, and you're telling me about. I said, let's wait to see what your daughter turns into. Be mindful. You blame me for him? Here's the point. When he started to do that, out of blue, he started to attack me with this shit. I'm like, right after that, my father's sick. I gotta go. He's like he's dying. I gotta go to New Orleans.
All right.
He lied. His father's still alive to this day. He was trying to get away, but Schiffer had a hand up his rectum like a friggin' puppet. That's who really was behind it. But he went out there. Now, unbeknownst to him, he's down there for a year, whatever. He don't know. I'm the one that's raising him up. But I told Abio, don't tell him. I said, make him an officer 20 now.
I remember.
But don't tell him nothing.
Right.
I didn't tell him nothing.
I remember.
He was down there, out there. He was talking evil of me, which I'm unbeknownst. They had a grand open. He never invited me. He invited Nathaniel. Nathaniel said, you ain't coming? I said, nah, if he didn't invite me, it don't matter. He don't know I am IUIC. Wherever I go, I'm going to step in there, and I'm the senior man. Outside of you, I'm the second man. So you can run to wherever you want to run to. You can't avoid me. You can't build your own island. Shakia, I'm talking back to Judah. Judah, that whole daily bread, that whole, it's him marketing himself. And I said it to say, when we was in New Orleans, a little child, Judah wasn't even talking about rapping no more. Judah's whole, oh gosh, it's so much stuff. Here's the point. A little kid named this turtle, Judah Mack. I said, Judah told me he ain't rapping. I said, look, you're very impressionable. They made him turtle at you. You can market yourself. And I know Judah buried that shit in the back of his mind years later. So all that daily bread every day and that shit, Judah is using it not just to get the word out, but to market it for his business. So Judah felt that he had enough built up of people liking him and sharing his videos and talking that it deceived him. So I'm saying, that's an I am IUIC. You can go to wherever you think you're going to escape and go to Kentucky and run your own island over there. Now I am IUIC. But watch this. If it's perceived that I was saying like I'm some big person, I'm some god or whatever I am,
Right.
in the years you know me, have I ever walked in that spirit? But I'm trying to tell his dumb ass, guess what? You can't circumvent me. You can do all that internet shit and take jabs. He was taking jabs at me at Tabernacle, slide on the mic, and he knows what I'm doing. I'm there working. I got to make sure I'm working. Somebody came and said, leadership. That's the year I catered it. Leadership is there. They need some water. I said, the bishop them is there. He said, no. It was the captains and whatever. He said the captains. I told, tell the captains, wait. I'm doing something. So now I walked out to the field to get an idea of how many people were there. I didn't send the water out because each bottle of water was with a meal. So Judah gets on the mic and he says, yeah, it's thirsty. We thirsty out here. It's hot. Now my back is to Judah. He could see me standing in the middle field. Yeah, it's thirsty out here. It's hot. Think we're going to be out here? Some of you bitches have to just wait for this water. I'm like, this fucking guy, he doesn't stop. So now I walk back to the trailer. About 5 minutes later, somebody came and said, Captain Judah said, the leadership's out here. We need water. I said, tell Judah, I said, wait. And if he got a problem, tell him come and see me. Now the person went back and relayed that. All of a sudden, Judah's walking towards the trailer towards me. I said, oh, this is fucking coming here. Now he got some shit. I'm going to tune his ass up. He walks up, he says, it is about 400 or 500 people in the field. I said, this guy's full of shit. When that person said it to him, the bishop said, go see him. He must have been like, yeah, okay, I'll go see him. And made it seem like he was going to do shit. When he got there, I'm like, I told him that this fucking guy is trying to get me. I'm trying to be patient with him. He's trying to friggin' but Judah over the time thought he's going to build up a friggin' following. A following. All that bread was a bunch of women who's friggin' bullshit. Dude, I've seen it before. I'm 23 years in this shit. I know the size. That's when I said I'm IUIC, is I'm not trying to say I'm circumventing Nathaniel or I'm over it. Listen, you see me when Nathaniel's around. I never pair myself next to Nathaniel. We walk in, I'm always a step behind Nathaniel. Nathaniel don't tell me that. I always ask him, do I have permission to speak? I don't ever walk myself with no preeminence. Nathaniel ain't stupid. He knows that's not my spirit. But when you heard it, it was more to him like, it don't matter where you run an IUIC. I am IUIC. Guess what? I can't help it. I'm one of the brothers that founded IUIC. It was me, Nathaniel, and Brockshire. What do you want me to do? But you think too much of yourself that you can go there and think you're going to go to Kentucky and start your own island. But that's Judah's spirit. Judah never wanted, after a while, he didn't want to concede to me. I don't abuse and take advantage of my position like I'm going to put you down. I do everybody like my brothers. But there's an order. And Hoshea had to tell him, yo, you're very disrespectful. The way you're dealing wrong. Judah don't know his place. Yeah, that's the reason why I say I'm IUIC.
Right.
I don't know some pretentious.
I was saying that out of concern because remember you were the one that told me, don't call me Bishop, I'm Kanai.
Yes.
Don't call me Bishop, I'm Kanai, because you used to tell me you don't want to let none of that stuff get to your head and you want to stay humble and da 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 da. Again, it leans towards the Bishop's changing. He's.
But remember, to the pure, all things are pure, but not and to the defiled. So you can hear things.
He's.
But remember, to the pure, all things are pure, but not and to the defiled. So you can hear things. I'm gonna give an example of how it almost happened to me.
But you understand what I'm saying,
No, I get
right?
what you're saying. I'm gonna tell you what this happened to me with Judah.
A document from September 24th in 2010 where I had drafted up a company summary or a business plan idea that I had for Original Royalty. When I did it, I ran it by Kanai to see what he thought about it, and he forgot that this is where the idea of allowing people to sell merchandise on your website as a community came from. But yet, as you hear in the audio, he's claiming that he was the one that came up with the idea, and he's accusing Judah of taking the idea from him.
The whole Judah McMurray shit. That was my concept from 2011, whatever. I saw emails that I was trying to. Me and Bez talked about it, whatever the case may be. He said no. And the reason I say, Judah, you poached it from me is because you see the 144K. Remember we was talking about it? I shared it with Judah when we was in Orlando. Before I produced the shirt, Judah produced a shirt that says 144B. He said, I'm going to do 144B. Judah always tries to copy. Now, I didn't know that at first about Judah. When he first moved to Orlando, I had a little icy truck. Remember that?
I remember that.
He came out here. I didn't see anything about Judah. Judah said, I want an icy truck too. I'm thinking he tried to be a businessman, whatever. So I was talking about 144K, my concept. He went and did an embroidery shirt, 144 black. Okay, whatever. No big deal. Years later, when I was talking about the 144K, he said, yeah, you took that idea from me. I'm like, Judah, you gotta be joking. I said, I got that shit written in books before. His mind let him believe. I'm like, this guy.
Well,
but let me get to the point. So now, all the shit with the business.
Yeah, that's the point. If you look at it, however the story goes, the root of it is always the business.
And that's why I said Judah with him is because of his covetous ways. So back to the point, how Satan tried to work on me. I said, this guy stole my concept. I said, I'm gonna put out Black Amazon. I'm gonna do the same shit, and I'm gonna do it. I ain't gonna charge nobody no money. I'll bury that before started. And I stopped. I said, I told Kyle, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be going back and forth. This is ridiculous. I said, I'm not trying. I said, he has to make a living. I'm not gonna do it. I got a call from Shalaya. She said, Judah Mack stole my business idea. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is what this guy did to me. And he said, yeah, this and that, da. She's going in. Now, I never spoke to Shalaya prior to that. But my ear rang because I'm like, this fucker did the same thing to me. See, this is fucking Judah Mack. This is it. Then it was the Black Christ Matter. I said, look, the black said, this fucking guy, he doesn't see it. I said, this is a shit.
How was Black Christ Matters?
Because the image was backwards. It's the same face flipped around. I said,
from what?
From Black Christ Matters to Death Before Dishonor. The face, the Christ face.
I drew that. I didn't copy it. Hold on. Listen. I heard the story before. You didn't copy it. Everybody, all the leaders said, is the same face reversed. It's just one this way, one the other way. But here's the point. Satan now, in my mind, is saying, Black Christ Matters, that's Bez and Judah, okay. Shalaya, there you go, Judah again, stealing people's shit. I'm telling you how Satan tried to play on me. So when Shalaya's telling me this, I'm telling you that Black Christ Matters thing.
Well,
I drew both the. Hold on, check it out.
Well, let me finish the point of that. That's not the. I'm trying to get the point.
Right.
I'm telling you how Satan tried to play on me.
Okay.
How to nibble. When Shalaya was coming to me and she was crying and giving me stuff, it was feeding me to say, see, he did the same shit to you.
Well, I'm glad you noticed that because.
But I'm gonna tell you how I caught it.
Yeah.
I said, all right. Why does she come way up the ranks to me? How's it out of, she didn't call Nathaniel, she didn't call the deacons, she called me. I'm like, man, I don't know this woman from nowhere. I said, well, who's the deacon over you? She said, Deacon ASAP. I said, take it to Deacon ASAP. See what it says. ASAP said, nothing. I'm not dealing with that. People's business, whatever. And I said, there's the answer, Kanai. If you was about to jump on that train because there's something that happened to you, get to find out later, Shaliah, from what Judah said, came and apologized to her. So I said, here you go. You feel guilty right here. And Satan sends him to stick you and say, and guess what? If you would have fed into that shit and jumped on it, now you would have made, yeah, look, Black Lives Matters and this and that, because you have pre-shit from what he did to you. That's why I said, be conscious that Satan will see something and say, okay,
right.
I'm going to put something else in the puzzle bed. Judah became vindictive. Judah was taking jab. He was trying to be slick. Judah, let me tell you something. If things worked out with Judah business and it blew up the way he wanted to, Judah told me kiss his ass. That's how, listen.
Well, in my interactions with him, he never would, as far as him being vindictive, I didn't see that with him, because I would have been like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? It was never, he never came across to me like he hated you in any way. It was always more of a hurt of, I can't believe I'm trying, and then I hear this, and then I hear that, and then I hear this, and then, you get what I'm saying? Even what you just said with the Black Christ Matters thing. I'm the artist. You can't tell me what I did. It was the same thing with the Black Christ Matters and that Christ image. That Christ image, I traced that from a Renaissance painting, right? So it's none of ours. And then the way I draw is the way I draw. If I draw something this way and I draw something the same character, the same story, it's gonna have similarities whether you like it or not. So the point I'm making is that the way it was fed was that I copied, and then because Judah's in it, you know, and like, I'm glad you said that. Satan played on all that. Put something in your head, and you say something to Nathaniel, and Nathaniel says something to you, and then, you know, and then you know, because I even went to Nathaniel straight up. I said, Bishop, do you think I stole that art? Do you think I stole my own design or whatever, you know, in some negative light? And I said, if you feel that way, I'll shut all this down, because I don't want to do nothing to jeopardize our relationship. And this was on the Day of Atonement, and he said, nah, Bez, you good. You know, Christ is being praised, that's all that matters. That's what he told me. And I said, okay, all praises. And all of it, the root is the business. Any kind of business. And that's why I think, you know, even moving forward, I really want to keep business forward. Like, even Zamira selling CDs in the school, I'm like, no. You know what, I got to look at it like, people here, they'll want it. They'll probably look at it like, why won't she sell us the CDs here? You know, it's there. So I'm like, okay, just if it's in your spirit to do it, and Bishop is cool with it, okay, fine.
And you notice that I'm always supporting.
Right.
I want her to do
And I think on that aspect, we should all support one another's businesses. Right. That's why if you look at me, when you put stuff up, I share it, I post it. I always tell my wife, make sure you promote original royalty. You know, we always got to try to push and support one another's businesses, but not intermingle our businesses or put our hands in each other's business. Not to go in circles.
Yep.
At this point, you know, I myself want to focus on my own personal life that I have to get in order so I could be more productive for the truth, building the camaraderie with the brethren, building on the brotherhood. That's where my focus is at now, and you know, that's what I want to focus on. And, you know, and I want us to have our relationship again, you know, that I want to know that it could be like old times. And I know things will never be the same because, you know, things happen. But, you know, I, at the same time, it's like, I know we need that as far as a congregation. Right. Because they need to see that we all on one accord with one another.
It was for so long I was stressing here saying how the podium is fragmented. And it's fragmented not because of scripture, it's fragmented because of business. And it spills in here and it became messy. And I said a lot of things I would have done totally different. In my mind, I think I always consciously, even with the problems, once we got past those things, I always tried to teach and be in a place that you all knew what was coming out of my mouth was about reconciliation and being cool. Now, Judah felt the way he felt, like I was saying, but one thing I do, I can reconcile and I can move on, but I also not stupid, and I know when you're taking shots underhandedly, right. And I turn a blind eye to it a lot of times. But it wasn't me. It was people coming to me that was seeing it. And I said, you know what? I wouldn't even watch the videos until I'm told, tell me what to watch. Just give me a second to watch. Okay, why is that being said? But I back with him, this thing, Judah, is very different from me. I don't want to talk about it. It's just, your situation is different from Judah. I don't see the same spirit in that case. It's just that it's sad, it worked out. And I still keep in my prayers and my brothers, whatever, and I want to see everybody succeed. I'm not driven by money, but with Hebrew Market, it is very important to me for the fact that I'm up in age. I put everything I had into it, and I can't see the shit falter. And if it was my way, I would be in business for myself. I always say, why take on a business partner unless they have something that you don't have? But and I believe that in business, because it's very hard to bring two people together. Friendships work on it, business relationship, marriages, it's a job. It's a job. And I never wanted to be spoiled. We can always repair. Anything can be repaired.
So before you go, so me moving to San Antonio, did you look at that? Because I remember the conversation we had in UZZIAH's house. We had that council. And what I got from it was you looked at it as me making a power move to go to San Antonio. I guess similar to how now hearing you talk, how you figured Judah was trying to go to Kentucky.
Yes, that's how I viewed it, as a power move. You're different. I never got from you, even on problems, that you were trying to circumvent me, overshadow me. Judah used to take stabs. Yes, that's how I viewed it, as a power move. Couple reasons why I feel like that. One, the circle that you was moving in. Every beef consorted with its own kind. So I know what Judah was about. Two, we went to Kentucky, went to San Antonio to teach, and I was teaching a class, and as I'm teaching, you said, let me make a point, which I don't care, we'll make a point. And your point just went on, and then you wrote down some scriptures and handed to me, like, you need to go over these scriptures. And I'm looking like, is this fucking guy serious?
I did?
Yeah, you want to make a point, and generally in class, I like people, I don't like to always hear myself. I want people to make points. But your point was 10, 15 minutes. You kept on going.
Oh,
but I said, at first I'm like,
dang, I don't even remember that.
But in my mind I'm saying, Kanai, at first I'm like, maybe maybe the Spirit of God is moving him. This is what I'm telling myself. Maybe the Spirit of God is moving him to say something for somebody here. Like, whatever. Then as I went back to start teaching, you wrote down about 6 or 7 scriptures as I'm teaching, and you slid across the table and said, you might want to go over these. And I said, okay, this fucking guy is bugging now.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, okay. But we never had this conversation. I said,
right.
So that's it's a power move. That's why I was like, no, I don't see it.
Right.
But again, because the communication was broken, and Bez, I think even when all that shit was going on, when you came back to me, and Bishop was telling me, when you came back to me and was like about the Spanish show being taken down, Bishop didn't want it. I'm like, me and you wasn't on good terms like that, but it wasn't bad. I'm like, I don't see that in Bez. I don't see that in Bez. Bishop's like, I'm saying, Bishop, I don't see that in Bez.
What did he say he saw?
Saying that the show should be taken down. Bez wants to push it. He wants to have that control of it. And it's the same time with the other one. I'm like, Bishop, I don't see
What other one?
Yawasapa, somebody was teaching. He said it conflicts with the same time with Yawasapa. I said, Bishop, it's in Spanish. It's not in English. He said, well, Bez keeps on pushing it like he wants it. I said, Bez, he's pushing it. He said, why does he keep on pushing it? I said, because it needs to come out. I said, I don't see it if you think it's like he's trying to take over. I said, I don't see that in Bez. He said, all right, Kanai, if you say so, go ahead. It's on you. And then right after that, a month or two later, when you said the notes across the table, I'm like, oh, fucking shit. And then he's with Judah, and Judah is on his bullshit. Nah, I don't see it. That's why I said it for. But when we wasn't on the best of terms, at least communicating, if I see something, I don't care what the situation is. Whatever the other stuff, what I try to do is be objective. Do I see this in a person? Okay, Bez is this and this and this, but do I see this in that person? No. Well, I'm not going to start saying I see it just because I have this other issues with him. Is it true? I've never gotten that from him. I've never got that spirit from him. And even with Judah, I said something. There's some things I see in Judah. I'm like, we in bad blood. When Zedekiah went back to where he was going, and they were like, yeah, I said, one thing I know about Judah, Judah is a caring person. He'll help a brother out. He'll give him some place to live. So if Judah put your ass out the house, even though I don't know what's really going on, I know Judah would be like that. There had to been some shit with Zedekiah for Judah to have to do that. But I'm trying to say, I didn't know nothing, and I know Judah is on my fucking nerves, but I know if Judah put you out his house, it's because you're on some bullshit. Because Judah wouldn't do that. As much as I have problems with Judah, I know certain things about him and his character that's not like that.
And so it was never me to go down there to try to make an island or do anything like that. To me, it was just, it's an hour away. I'll still be here. I'll be paying less in rent. And, you know, maybe I'll be able to get ahead of more faster than where I'm at right now.
Remember when you first told me that stuff about going in there? I wasn't adverse to it. You was talking to Carl.
Right.
I was like, yeah, you know, a lot of this goes back to the service of our Lord often spake. Because back to the business relationship was strained, now we're not communicating. We have an open communication. We're able to talk. I'm able to say, listen, I don't see that because I'm around him. But because everything else is strained, now you don't know where I'm coming from. I don't know where you're coming from. What this was up to.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I still want to move down there.
I have no problem. I have no problem with you.
And when I go down there, I know that, in other words, I had this talk with UZZIAH. I told UZZIAH straight up, I was told to step down. Cool. I stepped down. I'm humble about it. I'm not, you know, and I'm helping. I'm doing whatever I can as I can. But I told UZZIAH, what is there in place for me to raise back up other than editing videos? You know, like the 3 videos you wanted a week, which I think they've surpassed, or, you know, all that stuff is already in motion with the video team. And it's like, when I go down there, I want to be able to put in the work as far as teach. You know. Let
me say this.
No, I'm not asking for rank or position.
No, Bez. This is me talking. I don't think that's what you're saying. I want to say this to you. There's nothing that will hinder you from being raised back up. I'm objective. If you're there, you're doing the work, and you're part of it, and we're communicating, and I know what's going on, this is not my mission. This is God's mission. So if you, I tell you, you're not like, even when you stepped down, and you said, can you be in an officer class? I told you yes, because you may not have the rank, but you know more than friggin' majority of the people in there. You know, you may sit there and don't say nothing, but I don't have to ask you because you've been hearing this shit for 10 years now. You know, I'm not going to, at this point, there's very little I'm going to teach you in the scripture. You've heard it already. You read the Bible. So I tell you, even with that, I always viewed you differently. You're the only one that wasn't an officer that could sit in the officer's class because you could sit there and teach the class. So back to you being raised back up, I'm not against that. I'm not, even with you moving, you have my blessings if you want to move there. I think you have a part to play there. And I'm going to divert back to me controlling. And with Maserati. Judah is methodical. Maserati is an idiot. And he's only an idiot because he's young in the truth. He doesn't know no better. He's an idiot. So when I was telling Mosh, if they bring the same thing they're saying, Mikkel, Kanai's mad because he can't control my father. Everybody gets controlled. I know what you think is. It's called anarchy. My issue with Maserati was, Mosh, you were moving back to Dallas, then you're going to take Judah and Ahava and move them into your house. Do you really want to do that? You and Judah got a relationship, but you and Ahava don't have no relationship. You don't move all the people into your house. You know it's a marriage, you can't get them out. No, I'm going to stay here in Austin and Bill. Okay, cool. Then it's like, okay, we're doing this Alexio program, we're going to get things going. Good. Okay, well, you know what? It's a full-time job. Do that event shofar, I'm going to make you get paid off it. Okay, give me $5. No, I'll give you $10 off each sale, whatever the number was. You're the first officer of 50 that had control over $250,000 of IUIC money. And I'm allowing you to do that, and I'm allowing you to get paid. And I'm making you get paid off of that because you're going to do this Alexio. Well, I'm moving to Kentucky now. Where did you just stand here? Well, I have a long-standing relationship with Kentucky. That's fucking bullshit. You lied to me. You came and apologized. You lied to me.
Hey, that's none of my business.
What I'm trying to say
I understand.
Back to about me trying to control people.
Right.
I'm like, well, okay, if that's what you're going to do, you're not going to do this. Like I'm threatening him. No. If there's a job offer, they're saying, well, listen, you're working for us. Good, thank you. But I need you to move over here, and you don't want to move. Okay, then I don't need you. It's no. You think you're going to fucking run the show? No. But I'm telling you not to go because you're going to leave from place here where we have a machine running for you to grow, to go sit up under Judah. You're a friggin' following. You don't know what the fig you're following. Here's the whole summation of it. At the end of this, what do you have to do? You had to lie to me to convince me of something that you end up apologizing for lying. Now you're trying to talk other men into do it, and you're lying again. It cannot be a fucking, you can't be a fucking brain dead. That's not of God. So the point when he said I was trying to stop people from moving, listen, I stopped IBO from moving. I stopped Officer Yediah.
You tried to stop me and I didn't listen.
Okay, but guess what? Yeah. No, I stopped Officer Yediah from beating up over the years.
Wait, Yediah staying?
No, but I'm going back. Over the years, we've grown from that little mom and pop thing. We've grown. So as we grow and the congregation grows, we become more regimented. Yediah was moving. I told him, consider. I never told him to move. I said, but consider what you came here for. I said, did you fulfill what you came here for? He said, no. I said, so why are you leaving for? Eventually, he ended up leaving anyway because he talked to me. I told him, go ahead. I gave my blessing.
Yeah, the job. I spoke to him.
Yeah, but I never hindered anybody. Nathaniel stopped me from moving. You know, when it was time to move, I told what's her name? There's a car. Go down to Miami. Go here. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say. They put off like I was oppressive and I had to shock you trying to. Man, I'm so far from fucking shock you. Maybe if I was more like shock you, I wouldn't go with the shit I'm going through. But guess what? In turn, with you not leaving, here you go. You're about to make $20,000 in a few months. I'm trying to help you make money, Judah. I'm trying to help you make money. So, teacher, for Passover, you know what? You take half of the sales, Judah. Original want you to take 25%, I'll take 25%. I didn't take nothing. But the trade-off is, hey, it's better to be close to me. And see, it comes off like I'm being...
I know, but it's the business and church thing.
But the reason why a workman is worthy of his hire. Remember, we've been talking for years about the church should be at a point where you can pay.
Yeah.
Churches pay, so I understand that.
Yeah, right.
I understand it. So
there's certain things that are full-time necessities that the church should, as a not-for-profit, as a business, should be able to allocate a salary towards.
And guess what? I see that, and I've seen that for years. But now we're at the point. So now, guess what? Now I can be that guy and say, I'm gonna take this for myself. Okay, event show or whatever, I can do the same thing and I can keep the money here. Here, you guys make some money here. Okay, we got these t-shirts here, you make some money here.
Can I, from the outside looking in on the Mosh thing, I mean, that's none of my business. As a corporation, if you own a company and you have a worker and the worker goes through a death in the family, right? Does it make sense to take someone who just experienced that and then raise them up, give them more responsibilities, put them to do this, put the business side into it, all this stuff that you telling me what y'all were doing? Because as you telling it to me,
you mean his wife?
Yeah, like, you know, you telling it to me, and I'm thinking about the brother, and I'm like, damn, this brother is still, you know, he's gone through a bitter divorce.
But let me explain to you why I raised him up.
But you understand what I'm saying, right?
And
and so the point I'm making is that if you take this person and now you make him COO, Chief Operations Director, whatever, and then he don't perform to what you expect him to perform because of what he's going through.
No. But that's not true, Bez.
But you understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but you know what happened? The reason why I raised him up to a 50 was not because of that. I raised him up because when he touched down in Austin, Maserati took off. He's getting the office together. We're going to do this, get this. I'm like, man, this guy got the spirit. He's a business-minded guy. Get these guys in order. I'm like, I love everything. Marshall's at my house every day trying to study. I'm like, okay, he's going to help us propel Austin. So he wasn't taking the divorce on some distraught shit. I just felt that he used it as a card whenever he did like, well, I'm going through so much. That's fucking bullshit. He wasn't acting like that with me. Marshall, let's go get lunch, whatever. We study, laughing. Yeah, I got to run, Bishop. I got these men and we'll meet over here, do this. I'm like, okay, so you run like a 50, you bypass the 20s here, off the rip. I see so much potential to him.
Right.
Now, if I see him broken, woe is me, I get that.
Right.
But here's the
truth. But maybe it didn't hit him yet, you know?
Yes, listen.
I'm just saying, you know.
Listen,
and the reason why I'm saying is because, remember, I still deal with his wife because I have the car.
Right.
So even me, like, having to talk with him about her, she's fucking crazy. I'm just saying that not that I'm trying to undermine or I doubt your decisions as a leader. I'm just saying that as a CEO, if, you know, you bring the man up into the position and then he don't perform accordingly because of what he's going through and then falls, and it's like...
But that's not his case, because his performance wasn't affected because of that. Church performance, it wasn't affected. He was still doing his business. His church performance became affected because of the relationship with Judah. Because Judah would come there, I'm telling you, Bez, standing back, looking at them. When Judah's spirit changed, they both used to do the same thing. I'm sitting in an officers meeting.
Oh, you saying he saw his spirit change too?
I watched IUIC change, and IUIC trying to regroup himself a little bit. But I watched sitting in an officers meeting. Judah sitting here, Marsh is right there. We having a meeting. They both were sitting on the podium like this. You're me. They're looking forward this way. All of us talking, and I'm looking over at Judah, and I'm like, so Judah, chime in. What you guys say? Judah's like this. Oh yeah, I see it. And turn back. And Marsh did the same thing. I'm looking at him. I'm like, you guys don't see what y'all doing? You're like, Marsh is a fucking robot. I'm like, this guy doesn't see it. At Passover, Bez, and I'm talking about every day. Judah's walking, Marsh is walking by him like this. This way. And we all sit back and said, yo, this is what this guy's just, Marsh is so fucking, he's an idiot. He can't see it. And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, he's a fucking idiot and he doesn't see it. So in the meeting, they're both sitting, and they're both doing like this. They will only respond to me to talk. Judah, oh boy. So anyway, here's the point. Marsh, he only became to go like that, you know why? Because him and Judah had a relationship. Judah go out to Dallas, establish stuff with him, barbecuing, bring him over here. Marsh is going through a hard time with his wife. You have a place to stay. That's his brother. He loves him. And Judah mean good by that. But Judah also had a plan. And his plan was to use Marsh. He's saying, so what's wrong with Marsh going with me to Kentucky? I said, because he's getting paid here for service. And is it better to sit under me with 20? I said, is it better to sit under me with 20? I said, is it better to sit under me with 20? I said, is it better to sit under me with 20? I said, you and Marsh together don't have as much time. Is it better to sit up under a bishop or go and look? I said, what you're doing, Marsh, is about to affect this whole nation with this process. You're gonna change the whole way we do business in IUIC. You're telling me you're leaving that to go sit in Kentucky under Judah? Even if that's your decision, why did you have to lie? If you have to lie, it's not right. And Judah to the end.
So with all this is like, and I just pray all this stuff just.
So let me say this. You know, Marsh did. Marsh texts me almost every day now. He said, Bishop, I want to study with you. I said, no problem. He said, once I move in, can we get together and spend some time with me and study? No problem, Marsh. We'll get together. I'm never going to deny. He's my brother still. Marsh sat out here with a conversation with Kozlaki and them. And Kozlaki said, and you're going to be the first one to know, Kozlaki was talking with Marsh, Judah and them, and said, I'm thinking about moving. He said, oh, yeah? Yeah, I'm thinking about moving, whatever. Maserati went and told him, even Shach wants to move. And they said, yeah? So Shach called me and said, I got a text from Maserati that Bishop said to call him. He said, was it you? I said, no. He said, so I called Nathaniel. Nathaniel said, yeah, tell Marsh call Marsh. So at the end of the whole story, Bishop and spoke. Maserati said, yeah, even Shach want to move. He's trying to get away from Bishop. He never had that conversation with him. Because I said, oh, that time I was moving. What he didn't know, because he said so much evil in his spirit, was that me and Kawasaki both was talking about moving. I was moving with us. We was going to buy land. But he didn't know that. Jack never told him that part. But he took a little bit of that shit, and because he's a novice, and he got that precept, so he went to Nathaniel and tried to smear my name. I'll never tell Maserati that I know that. He wants to study, no problem, brother. I don't hold to shit like that. Move on with life. You ain't the first person trying to smear my name. I've been down this fucking road so many times. But you know what? You're still my brother. If you tell me right now you're at the congregation, I don't want to see you falter. So if it's studying with you and help you so you don't feel like you're missing out something, I'll be there for you. I'm only going to stop fighting for you when you stop fighting for the Lord.
Right.
That's one time I'm going to stop fighting. And this conversation never repeated because I would never tell him that I know that about him, that what he's trying to do. He already gave up when all that shit didn't work. When all the shit they was throwing out wasn't working, then it's like, yo, he said, yo, would you believe this guy trying to make it seem like me and you had a problem? I said, how did he get that? He said, I don't know. I just told him I was moving. He said he didn't know that was me and you talking about moving. And we was going to move because I want to get away from it. Because Judah was saying, get the fuck up out of here. Let's go buy 100 acres in Georgia and so build our own shit right now. And we was going to move because I want to get away from it. Because Judah was saying, get the fuck up out of here. Let's go buy 100 acres in Georgia and so build our own shit right now. And we was gonna move because I want to get away from it. Because Judah was saying, get the fuck up out of here. Let's go buy 100 acres in Georgia and so build our own shit right now. It was me and you talking about moving. And we was gonna move because I want to get away from it. Because Judah was saying, get the fuck up out of here. Let's go buy 100 acres in Georgia and so build our own shit right now.
You said because of what you want to move?
I said, this was not the old shit with Judah when he was first.
Oh.
We talking from back then. I said, listen, we take our business anywhere. We go buy 100 acres and we go build someplace else to do. I said, I don't need to be here.
The narcissist is in fact repairing the cracked illusion of perfection. They'll bring up some sub-story why they went about hurting you. They will never get to the root of the problem. They will never apologize by acknowledging their wrongdoing. So they will go about it in a roundabout way, which just has you questioning, what are you talking about? Because they will launch into this huge story they will put onto you, and you'll be thrown off balance because it's all about them justifying their behavior, justifying who they are.
I can start. I said, I don't want, because I was sitting on a podium fragmented. I still wanted to move. He didn't move because I told him, be patient. But in his mind, he took that information in and Azaniah and said, what, you not your own man? Try to emasculate him.
Who did that?
Azaniah told him, you not your own man? And he said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, I'm my own man, but I follow counsel also. But that was because of the conversation about moving. As another one, I said, you're slimy the way you operate. I keep on telling him, I said, you're slimy.
You said that to him?
I told him, listen, whatever I said to you, then what I say, it's not like I be saying shit to people I won't say to their face.
Right.
I don't deal with people like that. Now, Azaniah is trying to get right and cool. It could be cool. But Azaniah is on that same boat too. But would I ever deal with you unjustly? Nah, I'm not gonna be like that. Like I won't, Lord forbid I ever be unjust with you. And if you want to get right, Judah, whatever, I'm your brother, I'm gonna be there. Me and you, Bez, our relationship spans before this. This ain't gonna be, I don't harbor that. And I want you to be, let's walk. I don't want you to ever feel like that. You're my brother, I love you so much. I love your wife, you know. And we can fix it. We just gotta spend time with it.
Right.
It wasn't until a few months ago, I think I realized what my purpose in Austin was. Because before that, I was ready to go back to, I was like, I want to go to Orlando, whatever. I'm just home.
So what do you feel the purpose is?
I have to move. I have to grow mature spiritually.
Right.
In the sense of, I got to move away from this family field stuff to actually understanding that I have to learn to become more business-minded. I know how to do the family field thing. New York didn't know how to do the family field thing. Right. They knew the business. So I had to learn that. I had to learn how to build the business aspect. And that's what Austin offers. Look at all this.
So I fell back and I'm processing all this stuff. And I'm like, maybe he's going to fix it. Maybe he really is sorry. And again, after that, he continued the campaign against these brothers. Now, his hatred towards this man or these men spread to the congregation. Now they're put out, and I'm watching all these people talk crap about these men who they don't even know. I'm watching people join in on the campaign from all different parts of the country in the congregation, and it just started snowballing and getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. And what I realized is that the scripture says a little bit of leaven if the whole lump. And I've been watching this leaven that Kanai brought in spread like cancer. So even after this apology from Kanai, he continued on this onslaught. And he didn't even have to do it no more. He created bullying by proxy. He was able to get everybody else in the congregation to do the work for him. Proxy recruitment, or abuse by proxy, a way of controlling or abusing another person by manipulating other people into unwittingly backing you up, speaking for you, or doing your dirty work for you. Description: the goal in proxy recruitment is to gain the upper hand in a relationship or in a conflict by getting other people involved. This often takes the form of false accusations, smear campaigns, or distortion campaigns in which the victim is portrayed as an abuser.
Abuse by proxy is when there's like a head narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, right? And then they recruit all these other people to do their dirty work, you know, to abuse you for them. They get off on watching you abuse, and they don't even have to get their hands dirty because they have all these people, this entourage, abusing you for them.
Before I play the video of Judah's judgment, I want to make some things clear to you. When I started learning under Nathaniel back in 2006 with Asaph, Aithon, and Yawasab going to his house in Coney Island, Nathaniel never mentioned anything or ever taught us that sending us to live somewhere was going to be something, if we don't do that, we would be breaking the law. All of a sudden, it became a law now that you have to move where leadership tells you to move. And if you don't, now you're breaking the commandments. Nah. That's not what the Bible says. I'm going to prove that. One of the scriptures that's used is the example of Paul and Timothy. Now, Paul and Timothy had a very unique relationship, the same way King David had a relationship with Jonathan. Jonathan was older than David and took David under the wing like a brother. All right. And them two had a very kinsman type of relationship. Paul and Timothy was the same way, but Paul was a grown man, older man. Timothy was a very young man. So because of the age difference, obviously, Paul would reference Timothy like his own son. So now check this out. Let's see when Paul told Timothy to go somewhere and then told another brother to go somewhere, if he got on the other brother as if it was sin because he didn't want to go. 1 Corinthians 4, let's start up at 15. It says, "For though ye have 10,000 instructors in Christ, have ye not many fathers? For in Christ Jesus I have begotten you through the gospel." So what is Paul saying? Paul is letting the people know they're the results of the works that he put forth, right? And he's referring to them like a parent would because of the way he wants to look out for them. But in nowhere in here, he's going to tell anybody to refer to him as a father. Why is that? Why? Because Christ established in Matthew 23:9, he says, "And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven." Why is that? Based on the history of our people, it was a common practice to call the Pharisees father. All right. You read about that throughout the chapter of Matthew 23. Read it on your own. Christ said, don't call them father. So that's why going forward after that in the New Testament, the only time you read the word father is referring to God our Father. Or when Stephen went to address the people, he says men, brethren, and fathers. Why? Because amongst those people were what? Pharisees and Sadducees. And it was common practice as a form of respect to call the Pharisees father. Likewise, Paul, when he addressed the public, when he was incarcerated by the captains and officers of the Pharisees, he addressed the people as men, brethren, fathers. When Paul sent Timothy, Timothy was very reliable for Paul. Timothy was young, energetic, ambitious, and he would risk his life in perils to get to where Paul needed him to go. But let's see if it was against the law if someone told Paul, I can't go where you want me to go. I'm not going to move where you tell me to move. It's not convenient for me to do it right now. Watch this. 1 Corinthians 4:16. "Wherefore I beseech you, be ye followers of me. For this cause have I sent unto you Timotheus, who is my beloved son, and faithful in the Lord, who shall bring you unto remembrance of my ways which be in Christ, as I teach everywhere in every church." Now, Paul sent Timotheus. And where did he send them? One of the places he sent them was to Ephesus. Here, he has sent him to Corinth. Now let's go to 1 Corinthians 16 and let's read 12. Because he also sent Apollos. But let's see what Apollos told Paul. Because in the situation with Judah and Mosh, Judah wanted to move back to Kentucky. He wasn't allowed to give the reason why he wanted to move back. And Mosh wanted to move to Kentucky. There was nothing against the law for them saying they didn't want to stay in Austin. Or even if they were told to move somewhere, if they said they didn't want to go, there's nothing in the law to oblige them or say that they're breaking the law by not doing it. Unless you position yourself as the father over people, and then the scriptures of father and disrespecting father and honoring their father start now applying to you the same way it applied to the Pharisees in the New Testament. But now Paul, who's an elder, sent Timothy to Corinth. then to Ephesus. But then he asks Apollos to go. Let's see what Apollos says. This is 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 10. Now, if Timothy is come, see that he may be with you without fear, for he worketh the work of the Lord, as I also do. Let no man therefore despise him, but conduct forth in peace. Why did he say that? Because Timothy was young, and he would go somewhere, and people that were older than him will look at this young guy like, who are you talking to? It's typical today. But let's keep reading. That he may come unto me, for I look for him with the brethren. Now touching our brother Apollos, I greatly desired him to come. So when Paul's saying he greatly desired him to come, what do you think he's saying? That means he earnestly urged him, he commanded him, he wanted him to go. And let's see if Apollos went. He says, I greatly desire him to come unto you with the brethren, but his will was not at all to come at this time. Now, that's funny because in the judgment, when these brothers did not want to stay here, you're told you're self-willed, brother. You're self-willed. Well, according to here, Apollos is self-willed. Paul is saying, but his will was not at all to come at this time. So Apollos is like, listen, right now I'm not ready. I'm not going. And it says here, but he will come when he shall have convenient time. So now Apollos is like, listen, Paul, I can't go. If I have convenient time, then I'll go. So the decision was left up to Apollos whether he would go or not. It wasn't left up to Paul, because if it was up to Paul, he would have went where he told him to go. But Paul was not allowed to lord over the flock, because to lord over somebody's life means you have control and authority over their life. So Paul understood the boundaries that were placed by Christ. That's not here. What we see here is the complete opposite of what we're reading. So these men were tried, hung, and executed based on you're lying, you're hiding the fact that you want to move somewhere and you lied and you're trying to get other people. No. Listen, that wasn't even supposed to take place. That shouldn't even be a discussion, period, of a brother wanting to move, saying not wanting to move somewhere. So what? That's his life. He'll go where he wants to go. Now, as an organization, if you want to move somebody somewhere and they decide to go, and you want to pay for their move and all that stuff, that's common in the corporate America. All right, people get incentives to go move places and stuff like that. And I'm all for that. That's cool. That's great. All praises to the brothers that do it. But now when you try to use the Bible to then say, brother, if you don't do what I'm telling you to do and go where I want you to go and move where I want you to move, you the devil and you're in sin and you got to be put out. No. That's not what we're reading in the scriptures. You don't read Paul here bashing his brother, kicking Apollos out. You don't see him doing that. That whole father thing, that spiritual father thing, that is a old breakdown from One West. That's an old breakdown from House of David. That is an old breakdown from 12 tribes. And we know that those schools fell apart. We are not supposed to lord over the flock, nor find a way or an excuse or a circumvent to be able to do so. No. That's how we destroy people. That snuffs out that charge that was against Judah and Mosh. Now let's go to 1 Timothy, because another charge Judah got was about rebuking an elder. So let's explain this. Let's read it in its context of how it was written. Let's do a little background fact on Timothy. Timothy was the first bishop of Ephesus. He was a close-knit relationship with Paul, that Paul treated him like his own son. He was proud of him. And when we read here, 1 Timothy 1:1, Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ, by the commandment of God our Savior and Lord Jesus Christ, which is our hope. Unto Timothy, my own son in the faith, grace, mercy, and peace from God our Father and Jesus Christ our Lord. I besought thee to abide still in Ephesus when I went to Macedonia, that thou mightest charge some they teach no other doctrine. So what was going on? Paul went to Macedonia, wanted him to stay longer because there were some things that were coming up in Ephesus that he needed Timothy to deal with. But now Timothy's what? A young man. And he's the senior man in Ephesus guiding the congregation. Now watch this. when you read this First Timothy's, he is instructing Timothy, who is the senior man there, there's no one above him there, on how to deal with the people. So as you read all the way down from chapter 4, he goes all the way to verse 11, and look what he says here. These things command and teach. So he's instructing Timothy, from everything you read up above, to these are the things you're going to command the people to do. Command the people to do. Why? Because Timothy's the leader there. He's the elder. He's the bishop. And teach them. So now watch this. He says in verse 12, let no man despise thy youth. So we've heard this before. Why? Because Timothy's young. And what do we see with old people who have to answer to someone younger than them? They feel disrespected. They feel like, who you to tell me? I'm older than you. I didn't live life 2 times over from you. In that case, what do we always tell our own children that have to speak to someone older than them? We tell them, watch your tone. Make sure you show them respect. Timothy being like a son to Paul's giving him those same instructions as we read on. Watch this. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word and in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. So now he's telling him, be an example in conversation. Now watch this. Remember chapter 5 verse 1. It's continuing the same thought. This is not a whole new chapter that is a completely different topic. He's still giving him guides on how to deal with the what? The people. So now watch this. It says here, chapter 5, verse 1. Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren, the elder women as mothers, the younger as sisters with all purity. Now, when you look in the Bible dictionary, the word elder and elders has 2 meanings to it. The word elder can mean people of old age, or it can mean the headman of the church, which was the elder of the congregation. And they usually refer to as elders with an S. Okay. Now here, that can't be talking about the elder, the leader of the school. Why? Because Timothy is the leader of the school. He is the head man there. There's nobody above him. He's the one being given the instructions of how to lead the people. Let's keep it in its context. The word rebuke means to express sharp, stern disapproval, reprove, reprimand. So he's saying reprimand not an elder, meaning what? An older person. Instead, he says entreat. Let's get the word entreat. Because why? This gets pulled out as if it's telling you to treat the elders as fathers. That's not what it's saying. The word entreat, it says here, to ask a person earnestly, beseech, implore, or to beg, to ask earnestly for something. So all Paul is telling Timothy, rebuke not an elder, meaning watch your tone and how you talk to an older person. But entreat, meaning when you earnestly ask him, you ask him as what? As a father, meaning you talk to him with the same tone and the same mannerisms as you would have spoke to your own father. Remember, this is Paul giving Timothy the instructions like a father giving his son wisdom, because that was the relationship they had. So he says here, earnestly talk to him as a father, and the younger men as brethren, meaning you talk to them as your brothers. The elder, meaning the older women as mothers. So he's saying the same thing with the older women in the church. The younger as sisters with all purity. Now, how do we know he's dealing with the older people? Because in the same context, in the same breath, look what he says in verse 3. Honor widows that are widows indeed. So now, in staying with the topic of the elderly people, what's common among elderly people? Widows, all right? What's uncommon among elderly people? Young widows. So as you read on, he's giving him the instructions in dealing with the older people. How do you deal with the widows now? So when you read chapter 5, this whole part is talking about older people and the young women who are widows sitting amongst the older widows on how to deal with them. Then when you get to verse 17, this is the distinction of the elders. Verse 17, still dealing with older people, he says, let the elders, with an S, that rule well be counted worthy of double honors. Now, the elders in this part, if you look it up in the Bible dictionary, the word elders would refer to people that governed Israel, meaning of every tribe there was elders, elder men, like the tribal chiefs. And of these elders, he says, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honors. Why? Because of these elders had a reputation among the people. Listen, these older people here, these elders, you show them double respect. Now, of those elders, there's a distinction among them. He says here, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. So of these group of elders, he says, especially within this group, them that what? Labor in the word and doctrine. So among these men who are known as the elders of the people, within that group, there are some who what? Taught the word and taught about Christ. He says those men get even more respect out of those elders. He said, and in here, he's not telling Timothy to call them father. You understand? Timothy is the senior man. If you are young and you're the senior man of the church or a church, the elderly people there, you got to have a watch over them, meaning you got to make sure they're okay. Make sure their health is okay. Do they need help with their groceries? Do they need help getting home? Is somebody checking on them? Is somebody going to their house to make sure things are clean and there's not a mess there? Hey, we haven't heard from him in a few days. Call him up, check him, make sure he's good. Now, these men, he says, against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. Why? Because these men had a reputation among the people. They were already the leaders of the people. So in Timothy governing over them, being the head man at Ephesus, Paul's like, look, if somebody comes to you with a complaint about them, you don't receive an accusation. But he says here, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. If 2 witnesses come up about this particular elders who have this reputation, you got to listen to them, Timothy. It's not saying 4 witnesses. It's not saying 5 witnesses. It's not saying wait until more witnesses come outside of those 3 witnesses. It's telling you if there's 2 or 3 witnesses, then you listen to the accusation. Now watch this, verse 20. Them, meaning them of these elders that you read in verse 17, he says, them that sin rebuke before all, that others may also fear. Why? Because these elders are of high reputation. They have a name among the people. So if they have the audacity and the nerve to sin, you need to rebuke them before all, so that the rest of the people who revere them can fear God. When you see this judgment with Judah, remember, he's being accused of rebuking an elder in a video he made on Facebook. Everyone was putting up a picture of a blue waffle as their profile pic.
Forget about what people on the earth say. Don't do anything so that God can hold you accountable. I saw one of y'all type blue waffle on the screen, and I'm against that, and I'm against that, and I'm against that. Don't type that. Don't put that there. Okay, y'all don't have to put that. Don't put that here. Leave that alone. Let God do his thing. You want to be blameless at the end of the day. Don't condemn nobody that has sickness.
Everyone was putting up a picture of a blue waffle as their profile pic. Judah saw that, got pissed off because we're in the feast of unleavened bread. And doing that and going railing for railing with the sister that they were calling blue waffle was making us neglect the removing of the leaven within our spirits. Then he does a video to tell everybody to cut it out. What is wrong with y'all? Bishop Kanai had put up a post telling everybody to make that picture their profile picture. Now, this is what's wrong about that. First of all, you're the elder. You're the leader. You're supposed to guide the people according to the word of God, not instruct the people to go railing for railing against anybody. I don't care what the sister did. They did it under the guise of, oh, we're defending a brother. We're defending his honor. Okay, so that brother's honor supersedes the Passover? The way I deal with people like that since I've been in the truth, I ignore them. I don't give them the time of day. There's too much work to be done to be bothered with that type of stuff. Not only that, as the elder, you're sending people to go search through Google. I'm talking about you got young kids on Facebook in our congregation, new people, and you're sending everybody to go search through Google Images and look at pictures of STDs and vaginas and private parts of men and women to then find a picture of a waffle painted blue to then make that your profile picture. And you have people doing this during Passover, during the week of unleavened bread, knowing that that leaven is to purge things out of our spirit. So instead of everybody focusing on that part, it's like, nah, we got to blame the victim. So so now Kanai, who already, as you can see in the video, has an evil eye towards Judah Mack, takes that as a personal attack against him.
Let's keep in mind that the narcissist is a game player. And the game is to make you angry or to make you look foolish. And so if you come back at them with a whole lot of anger or agitation or blame, and say, you know, I hate it when you do this to me, or you're constantly down on my case and you're going to have to quit it. Then they can come back and say, see, this is proof of what I'm talking about. You're an unstable person. And so you can't really afford to go into there. And so the first thing that I want to suggest to you is cease your efforts to try to get that person to understand your frame of reference. All it does is it keeps the game alive, because they're always going to come back with, see, there you are again. You don't understand life. Never will that narcissist come back and say, oh, well, now that you've explained it, that makes all the difference in the world. Thanks for the input. They won't say that. So your efforts to try to set them straight are only going to keep the game alive, and your hole gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
It's viewed as an attack instead of being viewed as a correction. So because the doctrine of this scripture, 1 Timothy 5:1, is that, yo, you can't correct the elder, even though what he's telling us to do is contrary to the commandments during Passover. Based on this, now all the other scriptures about a father and all this stuff now come into play. So now we get to judge you as a sinner because you rebuked an elder. I saw that. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I was shook too. I was like everybody else, just stood quiet watching, and I was pissed. And I'm like, yo, where are we going? What is going on here? Because of this, Judah is on trial now. And you know what? Kanai needed to get rebuked for that, because that's not like him. Of all the years I've known him doing this pissing on Christmas trees, you know, doing this blue waffle thing, going on Facebook like a teenager and all this stuff, that's not like him. You know, he wouldn't do that stuff before, at least from what I saw. So again, this goes back to the loss of humility. With all this stuff going on, the humility is just do. So where I could do whatever I want, you know, whatever. I don't care, you know, this little blue waffle thing, whatever. Nah, it's about keeping God's laws. It's about keeping the Passover holy. And what's funny is that Judah was the only one that stood up and said something about it, and they burned him to the stake for it. Why? Because Kanai was already in everybody's ear, right? Because of Judah losing his cool based on what was being done to him by this narcissist, and then got painted out to be the bad guy. So now the bad guy did something else. And I feel sorry for brothers like Deacon Abiel, because Abiel's a great brother, and he admires Kanai so much. He's like Timothy with Paul. Okay, I could say, you know, Kanai's like a father to Abiel because of their long-standing relationship with each other. So Abiel is jumping to the defense of his pops. That's what Abiel's doing. He don't want to hear nothing. He's ready to knock him out for his pops. But at the same time, we can't neglect what the Bible says. Abiel was seeing all this stuff going on. Abiel watched Kanai go from being in dire financial straits in Florida, moving to Texas, and having this big house completely furnished. I was there when he came to visit, and even Abiel was like, yo, whoa, oh my God, what is all this? I can't believe this. Yo, how did you do this? And it just got written off as like, yeah, you know, Kanai's like, yeah, the Most High blessed me. You know, he's, it's for all the work I've done in his truth. Look, he's blessing me now. So Abiel, deep down inside, you know it was wrong. You know it was fishy, and you just stayed quiet behind it. I did too. I stood quiet. I was intimidated. I was shook. I was making Kanai an idol. I was guilty of idolatry. I was making the organization my idol, guilty of idolatry, putting that before what the scriptures say. I said all that to say, when you watch the judgment now, keep these scriptures in mind. The rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father is simply saying, watch your tone when you speak to older people, and when you speak to them and you earnestly persuade them, you do it with respect. That's it. The scriptures on having to move somewhere. Listen, Apollos wasn't kicked out of the church. Apollos wasn't told he was a sinner. We can't take that, but then ignore Apollos rejecting Paul and going somewhere. Let's hear what Judah has to say. We're going to listen to what Mosh got to say, and then we're going to watch the judgment that happened to them.